You're listening to the Plane Talking UK podcast, the UK-based podcast written by a passenger for anyone. And here are your hosts, Carl Stebbings and Matt Smith.
Well, hello and welcome to episode number 170 of the Plane Talking UK podcast. I'm Carl Stebbings, and joining me in the kitchen studio, as always this week, is my co-host Matt Smith.
2 weeks in the kitchen studio. This is very exciting.
Know. And I was just looking at the screen there when the titles were running. 170 episodes.
I
know. It's like 30 more, and we're at 200.
They keep listening to us. I don't know what's the matter with them all.
Why?
Like
what are these people doing? They're crazy.
I'll tell you, it's just basically all our listeners are basically insomnia freaks. They can't sleep. It's the only way they
sleep.
Yeah.
So it is the 23rd of June, and it's Friday, and the time is just coming up to 25 minutes past 7 in the evening. And we've got a full chat room of aviationists in with us this evening. Loads of names to mention. We've got, I'm just going to start at the top of the list here and go down.
Are you?
We've got Liz Piper, we've got Masha's in the chat room, Mariana's in the chat room, Main Man, Michael, Jeff Braithwaite, Thomas Mandrake, Jennifer's in the chat room, Shorty Crosgrove, Philip Davis. Let me go. Mark Harvey. Who have I missed? I've probably missed someone here. I'm just scrolling. Richard King. Barbara Parrish is in the chat room. We've got some chap called Pilot Pip. Not quite sure.
Never heard of him. No. Who?
And we have got Plane Talking UK. They're in the chat room.
That would be me. Jeff Braithwaite says, "Hey, seeing as you're in the kitchen, maybe you could grab me a beer."
Oh, we've already got those.
Oh, got that. Oh, right.
Cessna Citation. Cessna, as new listener, Cessna Citation.
Well, not a new listener, but new listener. New
in the chat room. New in the chat room. Yeah, Shorty Crosgrove, Myla. Not forgetting Myla. I think I've got everyone now. Lane Street. Not forgetting Lane Street as well. And if I've forgotten anyone, I'm very sorry. But
yes, we'll be here all night. If you
can never trust a participants list on YouTube.
No,
you
can't.
Miss loads of people out. But so thanks for everyone for joining us on the show this evening. As we said, we've got beers. And we've also got a very special guest joining us in the kitchen studio this evening. For those of you who watched our live show at Seething last year, will have seen this particular pilot with us in the on-site studio that we had there.
Yes. And
he's a Cessna Caravan pilot. He's also, he flies pretty much anything with wings.
Yeah, saying he's very much becoming a bit of an expert on the old Cessna Caravan.
He's actually an instructor on the Cessna Caravan now. So welcome into the kitchen studio, Stuart O'Neil.
Hello.
Shocked you there, I know.
Of course, let's not forget.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Until very recently, of course, you were also
my instructor.
His instructor.
This is the person that I have to thank for sort of getting me nearly all the way through my PPL until I finally lost money.
We won't talk about what happened.
And had to change jobs.
Absolutely.
But welcome, Stuart. Lovely to finally, after about 400 years of me trying to get you in the studio, you're finally here.
So, now they're asking in the chat room.
Busy man.
Yeah, they're asking in the chat room. Is it Stuart, as in Stuart, or is it Stuart?
There's no warts on me.
No, there's no warts. No warts.
Okay, nice. Indeed.
But we've also got someone else joining us via Skype this evening.
Oh, you have remembered.
And it's our resident master of everything to do with the cabin experience.
Absolutely.
And he's the king of Harpjet. It's Eoin.
King of Harpjet, I like that.
Yeah.
Hi guys, how are things?
Good to be very well. Good to have you. I'll take it you've been somewhere around sunning yourself in the Mediterranean this week, as always, Eoin.
I can't remember. Okay. Yes, I was in Perugia in the start of the week. And I did something else that I can't remember.
Okay.
And today I was on the ground for
the life of a Harpjet.
Well, indeed. Is it the lighting? I mean, you do look like you might have actually seen some sun, Owen, to be fair. Or is it just that you haven't got the lights on?
I think it's beer.
Yeah. Oh, it's beer?
No.
Beer?
It's a very well and strategically placed lighting.
Oh, good. Well,
I haven't been anywhere.
Myla in the chat room, she got a bit upset because I said King of Harpjet, but she's just suddenly realised, Owen's the King of Harpjet, and Myla will be the Queen of Harpjet. I
right.
suppose,
okay.
she,
yes.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Quite right.
Yeah.
I know. So we've got a packed show this evening. We've got loads of stuff to do on the show tonight. We've got a segment from Pip, which is a video segment, which is pretty awesome, which Matt has put together. And also we've got a segment from Neville, another segment from Neville, which is awesome.
Yeah, again, really, really worth a listen, actually, as I say. So Nev's very kindly put together sort of what I call Nev's passenger experience is what we've called it. And he's coming across basically a lot of people who are frequent flyers, and as I say, some of the clips that I've heard already. Obviously, last week's episode was brilliant with the lady that does a lot of the team, like the group bookings and things, and how that has changed over the years, and that we've had some fantastic feedback about that this week just gone. So looking forward to episode 2 coming up later.
But we've got 2 very important announcements to make at the top of the show.
I knew I should have opened the show notes.
I know. Matt hasn't looked at the show notes.
I'm sorry.
Which I sent him at 10 a.m. this morning.
I haven't looked at them for 2 years. Why am I going to start now?
So the first announcement we've got to make, and this is for all our Australian listeners. Yes. Very important. This is for all our Australian listeners who are probably not with us in the chat room now because it's like 3 in the morning there. But so basically, next Friday I will be leaving my current place of employment for good. So I'm going out next Friday evening for a bit of a
couple of sherbet lemons
and lemonades and some spring water. So next Friday we won't be doing the show as usual on Friday, but instead, to marry up a bit better with our Australian listeners, we are going to do a show on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And the reason we're going to do the show at 10 a.m. Sunday morning is we're going to do an Australian listener special show. So for all our Australian listeners who want to come on the show and join us as a kind of guest host kind of thing, if you want to get in touch with us, email us either via the website or send an email to podcast@planetalkinguk.com. Send us your obviously the I want to be on the show, and send us your Skype name as well. Obviously,
do they have to do it in that voice?
Not by that voice.
Okay,
no.
Right, yeah.
So send us your Skype address and we'll obviously try and get as many of you on the show as we can. We've already got a couple of people from Australia who are going to join us. We're hoping to get Steve and Grant from the Plane Crazy Down Under podcast also to join us via Skype.
Oh, actually, as you mentioned, Steve, I'll let you come back to it in a minute. Congratulations to Steve Fisher. Obviously, if you are a listener to commercial radio in Australia, you will probably be very familiar with one of the newsreaders who now does 7 p.m, 8 p.m, and 9 p.m. on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because he is now one of their newsreaders. I was actually listening to the show this week. I was hoping to clip it all together and play you something, but they haven't given me permission to play it, which is a bit of a shame. So I'm hoping that might come next week. But so congratulations to Steve on his new job as an actual newsreader on real radio. Real radio.
Well, he was built for that. He was absolutely built for radio.
Yeah, he's a bit like me. He's got a face for radio.
Well, no, I was going to say he is the radio king. I think
he is, very much.
Steve is he's good. Well, mind you, Grant, both Steve and Grant are both the
and we've all got faces for radio. Yes, you see that's the answer.
So that's so as I said, for all our Australian listeners and New Zealand, obviously, because I think the time difference is about the same. Just get in contact with us at the show. Send us an email, and we'll have you on next Sunday at 10 a.m, which is our time, which I think is around about tea time in Australia. Right. So that'll be good. The other announcement we've got to make as well, which is a very special announcement for the show, for me and Matt, is we have got a new member to add to the team as a fully fledged host of the show. He's been a listener and a contributor to the show for quite some time now, and he's someone everyone's going to know. And me and Matt have kind of been in talks and stuff for the last few weeks about moving forward with this particular person and adding him to our team as such. And I'm very pleased to announce that Neville Bounds is going to become a fully fledged part of the PTUK team here, and hopefully Neville will be joining us each week to join us to do the live shows. So
he's joining us in the form of segments and things like that, and then obviously as and when he can.
A round of applause. There we go.
He'll be.
The crowd's gone wild.
Yeah, as I say, for a long time he's been helping me, like from a tech point of view in the background, and You know, I mean, a lot of the outside broadcast stuff that we've now become sort of rather famous for is all Neville's fault. So,
and Neville's. I spoke to Neville this morning and asked him, and he was over the moon. Good. So so there we go.
Yeah,
so
I think he was just being nice to you. I think he probably like as soon as the phone call finished, he was crying for 2.5 hours afterwards. Yeah.
So it's going to be like a 4-man team now with Pip. So it's going to be a bit APG-ish, I suppose, really, isn't it? Because you got to have a captain, a first officer.
I think we might have someone else.
Does that mean you'll be kicking off late every week?
Oh no, not at all.
He won't allow
that.
On time. He won't allow that. We have to be on time. Absolutely. Just can't see it. Get the BA dig in there where you can.
Liz has beaten you to that. Liz Piper's already said that the show is going to be sponsored by BA from now on.
Right. So that means what is the average late time for BA? Is it 25 minutes, something like that?
Two days for the bags.
So what? Matt's got a little job now. He's got to actually add Neb's profile to our P2K website. Nev's already sent us a lovely little profile picture of himself. We're going to put on the website. So there we go. That is the shocking information I've got for you this week.
And before long, as I say, because we had somebody else edit the show last week, and not me. I have to say so. From somebody who's very kindly joined us in the
is that where the downloads doubled?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was for the first time ever. It was professionally edited and made to look nice. As I say, so Owen's been helping. Owen helps me out now with trying, because there is, as anybody who's done anything like this will know, there's an awful lot of work that goes into just sort of we sit here and record stuff, but it actually has to be sort of piled together. And so Owen has very kindly been helping me do that as well. So thank you, Owen, for doing that.
Problem. No, that's what you do when you have too much time on your hands, huh?
Yeah. I'll let you know when I find that. Absolutely.
Right. So
anyway, should we do something?
We better do some news. So we are gonna kick off the show then, as we do each week, with our rundown of the weekly news from around the world and the UK. So if you're ready, Matt.
I am. Yes. Yeah.
And if you're ready, Owen.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And Stuart.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go. So, kicking off this week's first news story on the fortune.com. That's something I wish I had. Not the .com bit, but a fortune. And this one the headline is Surf Air's subscription-based business takes off in Europe. This is one I haven't heard of, actually. I think everyone's heard of NetJets, but SurfJets, I think, is a similar kind of thing to them. But US subscription-based airline Surf Air launched in Europe on Friday as it bids to tap into the frequent flyer market, challenging the continent's traditional airlines with a model of unlimited flights for a monthly fee. Surf Air's Europe's first flights will be from London Luton, it's a shame, to Ibiza, and for a subscription of £1,750 or $2,216 a month, customers are going to be able to fly within Europe to destinations such as Cannes, Zurich, Geneva and Milan as much as they like. Surf Air's Europe Chief Executive Simon Talling-Smith said that between US and European operations, it hopes to achieve revenues of $100 million for 2017, with European flights making up about a fifth of the group's total business by the end of the year. The London headquartered airline will try better what its sister company Surf Air has done in California. Launched in 2013, that company now has 3,000 members. He also confirmed that the group was ordering Embraer and Pilatus aircraft. In the US, they have 12 Pilatus and they have another 43 on order.
Wow.
We've just now taken delivery of our first jet aircraft, which is the Embraer Phenom 300, one of Pip's favourite aircraft, which will be operating in Europe, Talling-Smith told Reuters. We intend to build up a similar sized fleet of jets over the next 3 to 5 years. He said that a couple of hundred people have pre-purchased membership ahead of the launch and that this was in line with his expectations. Surf Air says that they provide flexibility for business passengers who need to travel, and the £1,750 monthly fee compares with last-minute flexible business class return tickets between London and Zurich of around £500. It also cuts down on waiting times at airports, and he says that we have the opportunity for our members to get to the airport just 15 minutes before the flight goes, he said. So it's kind of a sort of pay monthly on an airline, I suppose, for yourself. I'm guessing you just pay your monthly subscription fee and say, oh, next week I want to go to Geneva, and then get there and fly. I suppose that's how it works.
Well, I can't be sure, but I think the reason they're called Surf Air is they started as a small airline with PC-12s to take people to the beach to literally go surfing.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very,
they're
niche
using
market.
PC-12s to go from some of the big operating airfields in West Coast America and take them direct to the smaller strips and close to the beaches where they wanted to go surfing.
Oh, I see. Right, so
That's quite cool.
Yeah,
and I think the reason they're now launching the European arm is only now because we've got SET IMC with a single engine turbine IMC conditions flying, so they'll be able to use the PC-12 in Europe for commercial operational flights, whereas before they couldn't. It was only for private use.
Wow.
They've got the Embraer, the Phenom 300s. It's a nice touch, but it's their top-class aircraft. But I think you'll find their main use is to get the PC-12s over here for commercial charter.
But the PC-12, that's
single engine,
but that is pressurised, isn't it?
Yes, pressurised. Lovely bit of kit.
Yeah. Very nice.
I mean, £1,750. That sounds pretty reasonable.
it does sound alarmingly reasonable, doesn't it? I mean,
where's the catch? I'm wondering.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're paying that a month, though, you really want to be using that each month.
Yeah,
really,
yeah, but I mean, think about the amount of business travelers who travel business, every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, I use Nev as the example. I mean, forever in the well, and also like Grant McHerron. I mean, he's forever flying from one part of the world to another. He's one of those where if you had a subscription service and it was within their range or that is, I mean, because it does sound very similar to the model that NetJets has, but this is states based. Is that correct? Have I?
Surf Air, it was originally state-based, but now they're launching this European arm.
As where NetJets is obviously Europe-based, isn't it?
So
NetJets is fractional ownership,
it's fractional ownership, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You buy a sort of chunk, I think, don't you, of how NetJets work?
Yeah, so you
it's
buy
kind of like a franchise,
and then you buy the tail, and then
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you buy a share in an aircraft, and then you share out your part of the aircraft. In Surf Air, you don't own any part of the aircraft. You become a membership of aircraft operator.
A subscription service, literally, to use the facilities.
I imagine they probably got a limit.
Using the gym as opposed to NetJets, which would be kind of like buying the treadmill.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's quite a good analogy.
Pip's just said in the chat room, he's piped up. Just says Surf Air's nothing like NetJets.
Sorry. All right.
Well, Pip, if you were here, you'd be able to say it. You're not here.
Absolutely. So yeah.
So moving on to the next story. It's
Indeed.
a nice. No, it's a nice story. Before you start getting excitable.
Okay, what do you mean? I'm always excitable. This is on the traveldailynews.com website, and it's story 2. And obviously, it's going to be a Ryanair story. So here we go. Ryanair launches connecting flights at Milan Bergamo. Somebody correct me?
Yeah, Bergamo,
Bergamo. We'll go with Bergamo. Okay, I'll have forgotten that in a minute anyway. But anyway, Ryanair extended its connecting flight service to Milan Bergamo Airport, providing Ryanair customers with an expanded route choice and the opportunity to book and transfer directly onto connecting Ryanair flights. Following the successful launch of connecting flights at Rome
Fiumicino.
It sounds like a cheese. Last month, from 3rd of July, Ryanair customers can book connecting flights on the first 25 of up to 300 routes via Milan Bergamo on Ryanair.com. They can connect to and from Alicante, Athens, Barcelona, Bari, Brinski, Calgary, Catena, Corfu, Ibiza, Lanzarote, Lamesa, Madrid, Malaga, Malta, Naples, Palmero,
Palermo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Pescara,
Trapanini,
Valencia, and Zaragoza.
Thank you very much. We should just get. You all having jolly good fun at my expense, are you? Splendid. Transfer.
Yeah, you did pretty well.
Transfer aside between connecting flights without having to go landside. Checked in baggage transfer through to their final destination. One booking reference number for both flights. This connecting service is the newest initiative delivered under the year 4 of Ryan's Always Getting Better programme, with more connecting services to be rolled out at other airports across the Ryanair network later this year. In Milan Bergamo, Ryanair's Chief Commercial Officer David O'Brien, which is unusual because it's usually Kenny Jacobs, so that's a refreshing change, said Ryanair is pleased to extend our connecting flight service to Milan Bergamo Airport from the 3rd of July, allowing customers to book connecting Ryanair flights on the lowest fares at our largest Italian base, starting with an initial 25 new routes, rising up to 300 customers will be able to transfer onto their next flight without having to go landside and have their bags checked through to their final destination. This new service under year 4 of our Always Getting Better programme will be rolled out at other Ryanair airports throughout our network, with even more routes to be added in the coming weeks and months. You get the idea. Basically, they're sort of, so Milan Bergamo sounds like it's really going to develop into quite a big hub. I think is probably the best way to describe.
Well, it's already quite a large hub in that it's got a training base for Ryanair there, and it's got quite a lot of domestic Italian flights, as far as I know.
So this is where it's basically, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's basically the buses of the skies. I know we all complain about them, and there are several people who have got horrific stories that they can tell about their experience on Ryanair, but at the end of the day,
I think everyone has.
It's no different to getting on a first bus here in the UK, really, is it? It's, you know, it's, well, exactly, but it serves a purpose.
Or tube, or
yeah. Just look, you can shut up. You just don't know how to read the tube, Owen. That's your trouble. Owen got lost on the tube yesterday on Tuesday.
Hey, now, so I came
Tuesday.
I came off the tube at one station, and I'm not exactly sure how, but I walked onto the street coming out of a different station, and that was very, very confusing. So I wandered around London for about a half an hour.
Ended up
before
at
I decided,
Monument Station.
I'm going to pull out Google Maps and we'll see where I am.
I think you were expected to be at Bank, and somehow you ended up at Monument Station, which is, they are very close, to be fair.
Something like
that. Anyway, well done. Yes,
in Dublin, there's only one train line, so maybe you're used to that one.
They've started getting their new tram system in place as well. Yeah.
Anyway, this is about aviation, children. So perhaps we should move on.
I was just going to say about I don't know about this Milan Bergamo. Oh, sorry.
So say that again.
I was going to say, I think the other thing is, I'm not sure, but Air Italia, I mean, they've been losing money for 10, 20 years now. Yeah. And I think they've just had a massive cut on their routes. So Mr. O'Leary is sort of moving in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I think they've more or less gone. Was it then?
More or less, I think, were
more or less went bankrupt.
They're not in a good way.
Oh, they do that every year or every couple of years.
Oh, right. Okay. Right, yeah. Reset the platform and start again.
We have to be on our best behaviour because Jennifer Parkinson's in the chat room.
Well, that is true,
and she is our Italian side.
Yeah, but she's a Norwich girl.
She is a Norwich girl,
isn't she? So she's just living in a nice place.
So the next story, moving on. Did you want to take this one, Stuart? If you like the next story. It's up to you.
You're doing very good. Carry on.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll throw it to Owen then.
Okay.
So Owen can take
do you want to take the next story?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is from the voanews.com, and it says Chile's low-cost airline JetSmart plans to sell $1.50 tickets. Santiago is where these guys are based, and JetSmart, a low-cost airline set to launch this year in Chile, said on Thursday it will offer one-way tickets for less than $2 as the nation's passenger air market becomes increasingly competitive.
I'm going to interrupt you there, Owen. Is this going to be one of these cases where it's like €2 to get out there and £30,000 to get home?
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, who knows?
I mean, that's the way that it works at most places.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had that story about Wow.
Wow. Yeah. It was £57 to get out there, and sort of like
which is wow.
Yeah,
and then
£800 to get home. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, yes. Sorry.
So we will have 30,000 tickets for 1,000 pesos, which is about $1.50 per one-way trip plus taxes to fly within Chile in 2017, said JetSmart, which is an airline-focused U.S. investment fund, Indigo Partners. I'm not exactly sure what that sentence is saying.
No, indeed, yes. It's
moving on.
Straight. Yes.
Indigo Partners has already carved out a niche in the ultra low-cost airlines and owns Mexican low-cost carrier Volaris and part of Denver-based Frontier Airlines. Indigo is known for unbundled or a la carte fares that carry cheap base prices but charge additional fees for extras such as carry-on bags too big to fit under the seat and advanced seat assignments. In February, Indigo announced that JetSmart would operate 3 Airbus A320s in Chile in 2017 and another 6 in 2018. While the company will focus on domestic routes, it will eye opportunities for the regional expansion once established in Chile, Indigo managing partner Bill Frank said at the time. Chile's airline market is dominated by LATAM Airlines, Latin America's largest carrier, with a smaller share taken by established low-cost carrier Sky. LATAM, which has been facing increasing pressure from other low-cost airlines throughout the region, is rolling out a partial low-cost model this year. Low-cost carrier Viva Air launched in Peru in May. Low-cost airline Flybondi is set to launch later this year in Argentina, and Norwegian Air is set to launch long-haul, low-cost routes from Europe to Buenos Aires next year. So it seems like, it seems like they're charging very, very low prices for these one-way trips, but then everything, including your carry-on luggage, could be charged for.
Yeah, I was just looking on there. They have actually got. They're not currently obviously flying, but they've got a website which is kind of ish there.
Okay. Well, what's the address? Let me just bring it up.
It's jetsmart.com, and at the moment on there, they've obviously got the application thing you can apply to have get one of these $1.50 fares, one-way fares. But it also says that they're going to use on the website. You can see there's a picture, but on one of the pages that I looked at, they're actually going to use 3 Airbus A320s as their first 3 aircraft they use. There we go. You can see the ones in the chat room. You'll be able to see there. That's the website there.
How come this picture has pictures of Dreamliners then?
That's they're LATAM or the LATAM ones, aren't they? I think those Dreamliners on there, which is.
It's to make it seem more prestigious.
Yeah. Are they allowed to do that if they don't actually have one? I don't know.
No, but they're based in the same country. They're both Chilean, airlines.
Yeah. No. Okay. All right. Okay.
So the next story is especially for the chat room, because all the chat room seems to do every week is chat about food.
Right. Okay.
So the next story is kind of for the chat room, and it's for Brian Coleman as well.
Okay.
And the headline, this is on the foxnews.com site, and the headline: United Airlines to offer Uno's deep dish pizzas in flight. God, I'll be salivating everywhere. So is the promise of a deep dish pizza enough to entice travellers to fly the friendly skies, or is it just another pie in the sky?
No, is the next one. Shall we move on? No.
United is hoping for the former, beginning on July the 1st, which is Saturday.
It's
only a week time.
It's a week tomorrow. That's because that's moving day. That's why. That's very
Matt's
much in
moving
my
day. United Airlines are going to be offering economy passengers the option of purchasing an Uno deep dish pizza on select flights departing from the US. The airline, which is headquarters in Chicago, where the first Uno pizzeria was established in 1943, has added the dish to their revamped bistro on-board menu, which includes a number of other snacks and meals available to purchase on select flights. We choose Uno not only because of our hometown connection, but because Uno is a recognisable brand across the country. And more importantly, it was also the pizza that had the best taste, a spokesman for United tells Fox News. The pizza itself will feature spinach, garlic and cheese, all surrounded by a thick, deep dish crust. United further tells Fox News that each pie will be cooked and served in United's proprietary skillet dish, which thoroughly cooks the item while maintaining that crispy crust on board.
I must say, while you've been reading that, they've been sort of chatting amongst themselves here
About
in the
food?
chat room here. They are chatting about the Uno pizza, and there isn't a lot of love for the Uno pizza.
Okay, is it a pizza or a pie? I'm looking at that picture, and that looks like a pie.
So
it's a pizza pie. It's a pizza pie.
Each pizza, if that goes, judging by that picture, if this is how much they're going to be, my word.
I suppose you want me to put that up.
Each pizza it will sell for $9.99. United tells
so it's not
Fox
complimentary
News,
then?
No, that the airline will also be offering a combo beer and pizza deal for $13.99, which comes with a Miller Lite. However, United won't be offering Uno just on any flight. According to the airline representative, Uno's pizza will only be offered on flights within the US that exceed 3.5 hours in length, and on United's flights from the US to either Canada, Mexico, Central America or the Caribbean. In addition to the Uno's pizza, United Refresh Bistro onboard menu will include a protein bowl, breakfast flatbread, a Thai-style chicken ciabatta sandwich, tapas box and a kiddies snack box.
Now you see, I'm with Stuart on this one. I'm not sure if it's a pizza or what. I mean,
it does look a bit pie-ish.
It does. Is it? Well, as I say, it looks like a pie to me. It doesn't look like a pizza.
But it's a deep dish, so it's obviously going to have that sort of
deep dish.
Sort of
I don't think there's a choice for extra toppings either.
No, no, indeed. Yeah. Do you know what? I think I would much rather just go and have a meal at Chan's, frankly. That's
same here.
Yes. Absolutely.
Shameless promotion for the restaurant there.
Absolutely.
www.thefreecooks.co.uk.
Oh, he's good, isn't he?
He's good.
Oh, he's good. Straight in. Absolutely. No mess in there. Well, we've all eaten there, haven't we? Owen's been there as well. It's
pizza's on aircraft.
Although to be fair, we do mention it virtually every week, Stuart. We actually do.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's
Shorty
is that when we get a ring up for a takeaway order? Is it?
Yeah. Usually, yeah. It's a shame it's from Canada, but anyway,
Shorty Crosgrove in the chat room has put $10 for a pizza cupcake. It looks like a cupcake.
It does look like a cupcake.
It does,
yeah, absolutely.
And Pips has put in the chat room also Chan's the best.
Yeah,
so, there we go.
Absolutely.
There we
quite
go.
Right.
So moving on to
it works out about £7.80, I think, something around that sort of.
That's a lot of money.
To be fair, it's probably changed since you looked that up. To be fair, Owen, I mean, the exchange rate is so ruined at the moment. I don't know what's going on.
So moving on to the next story, which is yours, Matt.
Yeah. Okay. This is on.
This one's a bit of a shocker. I didn't really.
North Glen News is the website. It's northglennews.co.za, and the headline is SAA wins at World Airline Awards. South African Airways SAA has been crowned as one of the winners of the World Airline Awards for 15 consecutive years. The airline won the Best Staff Service Award as part of the highly acclaimed international awards held at the Paris Air Show on Tuesday. The awards are run by aviation expert Skytrack. Now, Skytrack, that's a sort of compare the market, but for for aviation, isn't it? To win the Best Staff Service Award shows that our customer-facing employees are true brand ambassadors who made a difference to more than 19 million travelling customers. Feedback on excellent customer service is simply priceless. SAA General Manager of Operations Zooks Ramsier said. The awards are based on unsolicited customer feedback. Being an award winner for 15 years in a row inspires us to seek further opportunities for service excellence as the airline moves towards a brighter future, said the spokesperson. The national carrier said that it has maintained quality levels on all the services it offers. It has been a particularly difficult year for the industry, but we still maintain a world-class product and service standards to our customers, making our 4-star airline rating well deserved. Now, I must confess, I'm not overly familiar with South African Airways.
It's not one of those airlines that we say, name a well-known airline or brand, and you don't immediately come up with the name South African. I mean, obviously they must be doing something right.
They're probably quite popular in South Africa.
Well, yes, in the same way that British Airways is very popular here. But
currently, actually, they've got a bit of a bias best fleet, current fleet for South Africa. They've got mostly all Airbuses, 319s, 320s, 330s, 340s, and they've got 7 Boeing 737-800s in their fleet. And they've also got 2 cargo aircraft as well, which they've got in their fleet. But 57 total in the fleet at the moment for South Africa.
So now you were saying you were quite shocked. Now, why were you quite shocked as to why?
When you say the words like that, award-winning or something, the World Airline Awards, you think Qatar,
right?
Emirates,
yeah, okay,
Etihad, or one of the massive carriers, but
Harpjet
or Harpjet,
yes, of course, absolutely. Well, yes. They are winning something. They win something almost every week.
They must be doing something really well because, as the story says, they've been crowned as the World Airline Awards winner, 4-star rating.
They've got a large regional market of Africa itself, and South Africa is the more respected, established carrier in that continent.
And they've been going since 1934, so they kind of have a bit of experience.
They've
had a few years to get their hand around it, really, haven't they? Absolutely.
And the fleet-wise, I mean, they had the fleet, the past fleet. They've had some pretty varied aircraft. De Havilland Doves, De Havilland Comets, C-47 Dakotas, DC-4s, DC-7s, Junkers. Ju-56, Lockheed Loads, L-18 Lodestars, Lockheed Constellations, Vickers Vikings, Vickers Viscounts. I mean, they've
you name it, they've
definitely been through the sort of the airliners list to have South Africa. But no, good on them. Yeah. Well done, South African Airlines. Well done for that. So moving on to the next story, Owen, which is a bit of a fast story. This one, Owen, for you.
So here's the best website for finding cheap flights. This comes from news5cleveland.com, and the site is Kayak. Is the price of airline tickets keeping you grounded this summer? And you report list secrets for finding the lowest airfare to any destination. It's a method that could save you hundreds over what the person in the next seat is paying. And you know the drill. You want to get away, so you visit an airline's website, or maybe Kayak or a Priceline to compare fares. But Savings Blog, Financially Fit and Fab say that it's the wrong way to find a deal. The best search engine for discount flights is now Google Flights. Enter your destination and the dates you want to travel on Google Flights, and it instantly finds the lowest fare. It even suggests better times of day to fly and better days to fly to save you even more. Still not happy with what you found? The report says you should then set a price alert, which sends you email alerts when the fare changes. But a word of caution if the cheapest flight is on a discount airline. If the airline comes up cheapest is Frontier, Allegiant or Spirit, the 3 biggest deep discounters which in the US. Watch for seat reservation fees or carry-on bag fees that mainstream airlines typically don't have. The report says a $140 flight on a deep discounter can add up to $212 after fees, making it more expensive than on the same route on a legacy carrier. Once more, key to saving money: when you find a great fare deal, you should lock it in that fare as soon as possible. The report says if you wait a couple of hours, that bargain fare is often gone. Yeah, so my apologies. I said at the start that it was Kayak. It's actually not. I was looking at the video that was coming up in the news article. It's Google Flights. And I will say, actually, it's a very, very good search engine. I was using it to keep tabs on flights that I wanted to get. Unfortunately, I didn't get the days off for them, so it kind of made the point a bit moot. But yeah, they're really, really good. They send you a email maybe every 3 or 4 days with kind of an update on the how expensive or how cheap the flights is. You can kind of see a graph of the various prices over a certain period of time, so you can kind of gauge when the next sort of lowest fare is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I know, Carlos, you were using it quite a lot, actually. You were using that
yeah.
to...
Yeah, well, Mike had got me onto that.
Yeah, no, you were using like Google as well, weren't you? Oh, no, it might have been Brian. It's Pasadena Brian,
probably
actually.
Brian,
he was the one that showed me how he was doing it with this Google thing. And you could literally, like, obviously, when we were all looking for flights to Pittsburgh, it was a great way of monitoring, sort of to try and see the fluctuations in the price, and it was changing daily. I mean, it really was going up and down by quite a lot of money, like virtually every day.
Is it only the sponsored ads companies though that get higher up on the Google listings?
Ooh. No, they do have a separate section for those. They come up first, as in at the top. They appear faster than the other ones.
Yeah, whatever.
No, Skyscanner was actually quite good when I was looking at it.
I've always used Skyscanner.
It gives you a good kind of general idea of who's the kind of cheapest and who's the most expensive, and you can play around and move flights and dates and times and stuff like that.
Skyscanner.
Yeah, it was good. I thought Skyscanner was really good. So
is that? How does that compare to like Skytrax? Just as an example, I mean, is that sort of? I mean, that's a similar sort of
similar. I think.
Yeah, sort of similar-ish service. Yeah.
But no, I'll have to look at that Google one.
Yeah.
No, I haven't tried that yet. So,
but I've got an ad now. Confused.com come up. in the UK, you've got Money Supermarket and Go Compare. Yeah. But I think there's just been a thing that they've all been actually falsifying the search results recently. Really? So you do wonder with these kayaks and
whether they're being paid to make other ones go top of the list, maybe. And I wouldn't put it at all past Google to do that, because Google is all about revenue streams. I know that because I've been playing with Google AdWords for the company that I work for now this week, and it's not a cheap business, trying to get yourself to the top of the old Google list, even in a really niche. I mean, for want of being dull and boring, as I say, the company that I'm now working for, they make cards. And they sort of specialise in veterinary sympathy cards, and you were just trying to get them to the top of the Google list. So if you Googled veterinary sympathy cards, we were at the top there, and it's not cheap to get you up there. You know, it is worth it, because we have, since we've done it, probably in the last sort of 4 weeks, we've probably had quite a busy time of it, and some of that has come through the website. So you never know. It does. Sometimes it is worth speculate to accumulate.
A very famous parachute company that I'm affiliated with actually spends 5 figures, nearly 6 figures, on Google AdWords.
Just to get them
just on
there.
Google listings.
Really?
Blimey.
That is right. Anyway, we'll be having...
There is another really, really good website that I quite like to use. And this one is not one that you can kind of pick and choose your dates for like you can with Skyscanner or with Google Flights. This one is secretflying.com. Some of the listeners might know it. It kind of specializes in getting the latest deals and looking at an error fare, or maybe some kind of last minute fares that are really, really super cheap, and it puts them up on a daily blog. So that's secretflying.com. You can find some really, really good value flights.
Stuart's now busy.
Everybody's frantically putting that in their phone right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he is literally sitting there putting it in his tablet. Look,
I know you've used it. You've used it quite a few times, haven't you, Owen, to sort of find a last minute sort of escape?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really do a huge amount of the discount airlines, but it takes a look at pretty much all of the major airlines, and it's a really, really good one, completely free, which is the best thing about it.
How's it look, Stuart?
Yeah, good for a last minute holiday.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Yeah,
and
So there we go. You heard it here first, guys and girls. Look, you see, all the best information comes from PT UK.
Absolutely, quite right.
So moving on.
Yeah, well done, gentlemen. All on brand. Well done. Bravo.
To the next story, which is a bit of more of a it's kind of a supersonic story, really. So, Stuart, what's this one?
Okay, this is from CNBC. And it's from the Paris Air Show 2017. Supersonic flight promised by 2023.
Yeah, right, whatever. They've been promising it since Concorde was shut down. Yeah.
As Boom announces airline orders, the return of Concorde supersonic flight has been brought a step closer, with the announcement that 5 airlines have placed a total of 76 orders with US firm Boom. Virgin is the only known customer of the concept stage supersonic passenger airliner, with the other 4 to be announced at special events. Airlines are excited for something new and different to offer their passengers, and we're thrilled that major world airlines share our vision for a future of faster, more accessible supersonic travel. We look forward to sharing more about these partnerships in the future, said Blake Scholl, founder and CEO at the Paris Air Show press conference. Scholl added the new aircraft reservations are backed by tens of millions of dollars in non-refundable payments.
Ouch.
Yeah, I heard something about these engines as well. Boom claimed the average length of flight from Paris to New York would drop to 3.5 hours from 7 when the full airliner flies, like it used to be with Concorde.
Yeah.
Utilising its full Mach 2.2 speed. Another example given was San Francisco to Tokyo, which would take a little over 5 hours compared to the current 11. Concorde, which debuted at the Paris Air Show 48 years ago.
Goodness me, that was so long ago.
Wow, so sad though.
I'm not even sure.
I'm not
even sure Owen's dad was alive then, let alone Owen.
At which time it had a top speed though of Mach 2. The full plane comes with 2 configurations of either 55 business class seats or 15 business with 30 first class seats on longer flights.
Wow.
The plane would have a list price to customers of just $200 million. That's not too bad, is it?
Cheap.
A business class ticket from London to New York is estimated at $5,000.
It's one you say it fast enough, it doesn't hurt, you know.
Yeah.
Say it
I was just thinking, is that 5,000 one way as well? Wow. The company wants the plane in the skies by 2023, but is first developing a smaller supersonic jet to test the technology. Skoll said the XB-1 supersonic demonstrator will fly in Denver late next year after passing a major performance and safety test. We now have everything required to build history's first independently developed supersonic aircraft. The funding, technical design and manufacturing partners, said Skoll. GE, Honeywell, Tenket and Stratis are among firms working on the Boom supersonic development. I understand you got a video.
We just played it, while you were saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a sexy looking plane.
It does look nice.
It is. It does. Yeah. It does look great. And it's what is it? I mean, I know I say this every time we mention Concorde, and I never really understood. I know I understand why it was taken out of service. Yeah. But I mean, it was never really flying empty. So there was a market. You know, people were willing to pay the prices they were having to pay, if you like, to fly on things like Concorde. And I just, to this day, never understood why there wasn't something else already lined up to take over because they must have known, obviously, that the shelf life of the Concorde was reaching its end.
Well, the other designs on the market just weren't very good.
Right.
The Volkeri American version and then the Russian one that had its wing issues.
No, T144. 144, yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't compete. And then it was a political game, so the Americans decided they didn't want supersonic planes, hence they were stuck to Europe.
Right.
Okay. But I mean, also, it took 2 countries an enormous amount of resources and a very long amount of time to develop the Concorde, so it wasn't just as simple as putting another one into service a few years later, you know.
Yeah. All right.
Also, I was just kind of looking at the unit cost. You said 200 million, wasn't it? That's not that much, considering, like, if you think about it, an A380 lists sort of in around the 390 to 400 million dollars, I think.
Wow. Okay. I thought it was. Yeah.
So it's not, not too. Yeah, I mean that's list price, obviously, and nobody pays.
Nobody.
Price. I mean,
no one pays the list price.
No.
Can I just point out as well that the chat room are having a massive discussion based all around puddings.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's all about
not
food
aviation.
Again. No.
Puddings. I tell you, we should honestly do a food segment on this show.
Right. Okay.
Just for the chat room.
Okay. Just pretty.
Who's going to be willing to go out on each of the different airlines and sample their food and bring us back a report?
Captain Al.
Yeah, he's already done it. To be fair, it's fine. Yeah, absolutely. What's gonna?
All right. So the next story is
that would be you.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next story is on the CNBC website.com again. So it's Embraer claims its biggest ever jet is profit hunter for airlines. So among the debutantes at the 52nd Paris Air Show is the Embraer E195-E2, the newest member of the Brazilian firm's family of regional jets. The plane maker's commercial arm specialises in aircraft that serve regional flights on distances typically less than 2,000 nautical miles. John Slattery, President and CEO of Commercial Aviation for Embraer, said Sunday that the biggest plane Embraer has ever built, and he expects the airlines will recognise its value. It is very cheap to operate and it's very light, and we believe airlines will be able to generate extra revenue, and that's why we've called it the Profit Hunter. We've extended it by 3 rows and improved the range by 600 nautical miles to 2,600, he added. Embraer's E195-E2 makes its first international appearance in Paris, decked out in a golden eagle livery, as the airline tries to hammer home the message of an efficient profit hunter. Hinting that deals could be imminent, Slattery told CNBC that he expected the firm to add its 70-strong existing customer base, and we're going to introduce new customers to the Embraer E-Jet family. There will be low-cost carriers as well as traditional flag carriers, so we are broadening our operational franchise, Slattery said. We have a broad franchise footprint in continental Europe and North Africa, which account for most of our business. We expect to see sales of around 6,500 units over the next 20 years, Slattery said. The E2 family of aircraft are powered by Pratt & Whitney's PW1900G and use cockpit technology from Honeywell Aerospace. The E195-E2, which can be configured to 144 seats, is expected to enter service in 2019. Embraer are also unveiling the military KC-390 medium transport at the Paris Air Show. Boeing has agreed to help Embraer with sales support for the aircraft, and Portugal is reported to be the first country to buy the military offering. Embraer's John Slattery said sales of the KC-390 are critical as the firm looks to recoup the billions invested. Now, this 195-E2, Stuart, you said you've clapped eyes on this.
Yeah, I saw
aircraft.
a brand new one parked on the tarmac at Billund in Denmark just a couple of weeks ago. Again, very sexy looking airplane. It seemed very low to the ground. That was one thing. I was thinking the engine intakes seemed only just a few feet above the ground. Very low. But yeah, very sleek, light, and I guess it's someone like Embraer coming along and kind of shaking up the game a bit between Airbus and Boeing, really. It's Bombardier as well now.
Bombardier!
Bombardier.
Oh, Bombardier, sorry.
Bombardier.
No, you're saying it right. It's just me. I can't. You say Bombardier, it just doesn't sound right. I'm sorry, it's not allowed. It's Bombardier. Well, we're all fans of beer, you see. That's it.
Bombardier. Yeah.
Bombardier.
So next story, and
that would be me.
That
yes.
would be you.
Yeah. Okay. And so we're sticking with the CNBC. As our source for this one, and this is Boeing wins Paris order title as Airbus's Leahy announces retirement. So this is basically the battle for who wins the most orders at the Paris International Air Show, and Boeing has won the order battle at the Paris Air Show after Airbus conceded it cannot catch the US plane makers' tally. Oh dear. As of Thursday morning, Airbus had won commitments for a total of 326 aircraft, including firm orders for 144 aircraft worth $18.5 billion, and memorandums of understanding for 182 aircraft worth $21.2 billion. Boeing, meanwhile, has a Paris order book of 460. Now that's huge. 463 when previous orders upgraded to newer planes are stripped out. Is this a slower show than previous years? Yes, it is. Are we conceding that Boeing sold a few more planes than we did? Yes, said Airbus CEO of the commercial customers. That's John Leahy in comments reported by Reuters on Thursday. Much of Boeing's Paris success has come in the form of the launch of their 737 MAX 10 aeroplane. The single-aisle plane can carry up to 230 passengers and competes with the Airbus A320neo family rather nicely. Boeing said that it's increasing production of its 737 range from 42 to 47 planes a month by the end of 2017 and will reach 57 a month by 2020 to meet the demand. Airbus's Leary claimed that Boeing's MAX 10 launch was not as impressive as it appeared, benefiting from a high number of airplanes and leasing companies shifting orders to the new plane. Yes. Good news, though.
Oh, I got to see the 737 MAX 9 when it was on its way to the Paris Air Show last week, or maybe the week before, last week. Yeah,
because you sent the
came
pictures.
And stopped by in work. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
it looks so good. It really does. And I got a chance to go in it. It had all the test equipment.
You went inside?
Had all the... Sorry?
You went inside the aircraft?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
And it's got all of the...
So jealous now.
Did I not send you pictures of this?
You did send me pictures, but I didn't think you'd been inside the aircraft, Owen.
Oh, yeah. No, it was sitting in our hangar, and we got to go in and take a look. It had all the engineering equipment, so it had all of the test stations and feeding a ridiculous amount of information back to Seattle 24/7. So all of these systems were running even in the hangar.
Really?
So it was really, really cool to see. Yeah, I mean, there was one point where he was saying that at another facility someone had leaned on the tire for a little bit too long, and one of the engineers got a call from Boeing saying, "What's happening?"
Really?
So, yeah.
All the sensors
this is in
and
a hangar.
Why? Goodness me.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they do monitor it really, really closely, and I suppose it's still an experimental aircraft.
Yeah, so they're a bit precious about it.
Yeah. It had experimental written all over it, but it was a very, very cool thing to see.
Yeah.
And those new Leap 1B engines,
massive
are
engines,
very, very cool. Yeah, they are. Yeah. They're quite a fair bit bigger than the ones that are on there at the moment on the 737 NGs. And it was really, really cool. It's got an extra door in the middle of it, well, 2 extra emergency escapes in the middle of it, as well as the 2 in the over wings and the 2 at the front and 2 at the back. So it's really quite a lot bigger than the current 737-800s, and just slightly bigger than the 737-900s.
Oh. So moving on to the next story. This is Australian. Do you want to take this one, Stuart? Or?
Okay,
Yeah.
So, Australian Aviation.com.au. Airbus presents A380 Plus at Paris Air Show. Airbus has presented an updated version of the A380 featuring new fuel-saving winglets in what is the latest initiative to help improve the aircraft's operating economics and perhaps attract new orders for the program. The winglets were on display on one of Airbus's A380 test fleet present at the Paris Air Show, which got underway on Monday.
Wow.
They are part of improvements to the aircraft that Airbus has packaged together and called A380 Plus, including extending maintenance intervals, aerodynamic changes to the wing, and previously announced cabin enablers to add more seats. Airbus Commercial Aircraft head of A380 marketing Frank Vermeria, possibly, said the A380 market was
no worse than anything we do.
Constantly moving. Yeah. We've spoken to our existing customers and have received positive feedback on the improvements envisioned for the A380 Plus, Vermeria said in a statement. We see the improvements in the A380 Plus as a great step to make the A380 even more efficient, ensuring it stays well ahead of the competition while still offering passengers a unique flying experience in the best cabin in the sky. Airbus said the new winglets measuring 4.7 metres in height, an uplet of 3.5 metres and a downlet of 1.2 metres would help improve aerodynamics and reduce drag. The A380 wings' overall dimensions would remain within an 80 metre by 80 metre envelope. That's a big wing. Maintaining the aircraft's compatibility with airport infrastructure. Further, Airbus said the A380 Plus would have longer maintenance check intervals, including a reduced 6-year check downtime to help cut maintenance costs and increase the available flying hours of the aircraft. The A380 Plus would also comprise system improvements derived from the company's A350 program, with the latest in-flight entertainment system, new fuel pumps with high-slip induction motors, and a new flight management system to be offered. Probably just a computer update. This comes on top of previously announced measures to add up to 80 more seats in the cabin, such as an 11 abreast economy and 9 abreast premium economy on the lower deck. New stairs, the removal of sidewall storage bins on the upper deck, and a combined crew rest compartment. So flight crew and cabin crew can get together. Airbus Chief Operating Officer for Customers, John Leary, said the A380 Plus was a new step for our iconic aircraft to best serve worldwide fast-growing traffic and the evolving needs of the A380 customers. I don't know if I can say A380 anymore. The A380 Plus is an efficient way to offer even better economics and improved operational performance at the same time, Leah said. The A380 is well proven as a solution to increasing congestion at large airports and in offering a unique passenger-preferred experience. Airbus has previously outlined a reduction of the A380's production rate to 1 aircraft a month by 2018. Various order numbers here. The rate may need to be further reduced if no new orders emerge. Airbus Executive Vice President and Head of Programs Didier Everard told media on the sidelines of the International Air Transport Association. It needs orders this year to maintain 1 a month, Everard said.
Wow. So basically what they've done, if you look at the picture on this website of this A380 with these winglets on, all they've done is they've basically nicked the Scimitar split winglets from Boeing and stuck them on the A380, because they are Scimitar split winglets that Boeing use on the new 737s, and I think they've put them on the Mac. They've put them on the Max as well.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, or if you heard, Stuart, that Airbus were talking about possibly doing a A380 Neo.
Yeah, it needs to be re-engined for Emirates to buy them.
Yeah,
Emirates won't touch them, will they?
And Airbus have said, I think they said they're not going to. They don't want to do it.
This is their cheap way of remarketing it by sticking on some winglets.
Yeah.
And the thing about the extension of the maintenance is probably something that they would have got anyway, as they've been in service for 10 years now. They can do that on all the fleet that are out there anyway. They're just trying to market it for other markets. Have you seen the big thing about the Hargees?
No.
Yeah, so the Malaysian ones are now being they couldn't sell them to the second-hand market. Was it the Singaporean ones? Singaporean ones or Malaysian ones?
I think it was. Yeah.
And so they're now going to be set up as the Hargee movers. So it's moving people around for the Muslim pilgrimages.
Yeah.
And I mean, if they can get extra seats in there with these new ones, they might sell them a few more.
Well, I mean, because nobody has used them at their capacity of what is it, 800 and something ridiculous people on board.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I mean, the idea of them is right. The fact is that Gatwick and Lufthansa, that there is a shortage of slots, and so you need to fulfil them. But it's just not happening.
No,
it's a shame, because they've obviously dropped production as well. The Airbus 380s, they're not producing these as fast as they were.
No.
But it's literally purely just Emirates, really.
When Emirates have said they'll buy them if they re-engine them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's an incentive if ever they needed one. Then really,
yeah. But they've already spent billions on designing them, and they need to pay off some of that billions before they can do the next.
Well, they can do the next phase.
Yeah.
So next story, Matt. It's a bit of a safety-esque story. Or are you ready, or do you want me to?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. So this is Airbus launches. Is that right?
Yes,
I got the
new fixed.
Yes, sorry, it's all right. I just got a big picture of the way. Sorry, sorry. I was loading up what we were talking about earlier. I was trying to load something.
I think this is a really good idea.
Yeah.
What
so this is Airbus.com. So this is actually coming from the horse's mouth, as it were. So expect lots of business-related jargon here. Airbus launches new fixed and deployable flight recorders. Okay, that's intriguing. Deployable voice and data recovery devices could eventually be offered for the entire range of Airbus commercial aircraft, offering greatly improved location redundancy for data recovery. Airbus is to implement new fixed and deployable flight recorders for Airbus's airliner programs in collaboration with L3 Technologies. The new devices will come in two versions: a fixed crash protective cockpit voice and data recorder, capable of recording up to 25 hours of voice and flight data on a single recorder, and an automatic deployable flight recorder. This new CVDR will be lighter, more compact, and will provide new capabilities compared with current generation of recorders, including versatile interfaces. The new CVDR answers the EASA and ICAO requirements to extend the duration of voice recording to 25 hours. Today, the current requirement for a duration of 2 hours of voice recording. I'm surprised it's that low. But anyway, maybe that's why they're changing it. So 2 of these new CVDRs will be fitted to the shorter range of the A320 airliners. This will greatly increase the redundancy for both voice and flight data recovery compared with today's airliner installations, which comprise just one flight data recorder plus one separate voice recorder. The other version of the new recording system, the ADFR, is aimed at longer range aircraft with extended flight times over water or remote areas, such as the Airbus A321LR, A330, the A350XWB and the A380. The ADFR will add a new capability to commercial airliners, the ability to be deployed automatically in case of significant structural deformation or water submersion. Designed to float, the crash-protected memory module containing up to 25 hours of recorded cockpit voice and data will be equipped with an integrated emergency locator transmitter to help rescue teams to rapidly locate and recover flight recorders. Charles Champion, the Executive Vice President of Engineering at Airbus Commercial Aircraft, said that Airbus, together with L3 Technologies and Leonardo DRS, is very pleased to be leading the commercial aircraft industry in implementing into our aircraft new deployable flight data and 25-hour voice recording capability. He added, starting with the very long-range A350XWB, we look forward to progressively installing these new voice and data recovery devices across our entire product range.
This is a really good idea, I think, having...
I'm surprised it's only 2 hours. I
25 hours.
No, I mean, but at the moment, apparently the only requirement is that it only needs to record 2 hours.
Well, yeah, because they expect the crash to be in the last few minutes or 30 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess there's been instances where perhaps they've decided that they need more data, I guess.
Well, yeah, longer in the flight, they can see how the crew have operated and how they've been in the previous flight, if there was the same problem.
Right. If there was any glitches from the previous so I mean, at the moment where it's only recording 2 hours, is it like essentially the flight is just recording on a 2-hour loop, and so it's overwriting the previous data on a sort of a cycle,
and that's been a big problem in previous investigations, actually, where they have had a lack of knowledge because it's been a long flight and they really wanted to know what happened at the start
quite
of the
early
flight.
on. Right.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting from a CRMS point of view, in that it'll show how the crew have been interacting up until that point, and not only that, but also on any ones that are not quite so long haul. It'll be very interesting to see how the crews use the SOPs and how standardized they actually are between the crews, because obviously it'll be able to record more than one set of crew on the aircraft.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's a picture of it though, and I just want to say it's like everything but the kitchen sink. It's just
it's
a white kitchen sink with a bit that falls out. I just hope though it has more batteries than MH370, because if the batteries had lasted longer, we'd actually know what might have happened.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So we've got a couple of stories left to bring you. One is one that actually broke earlier before we started the show, and then we do have a top 10 at the end. But so the story that everyone's been talking about in the chat room this evening, a bit of kind of sad news really. It's regarding the Thunderbirds display team. This one's on a link actually that Micah posted in the chat room just earlier. It's on the drive.com. And everyone knows the headline. It's one of the F-16s belonging to the Thunderbirds crashes in Dayton, Ohio. So details remain scarce, but a USAF Thunderbirds F-16 has been involved with a mishap while on location in Dayton, Ohio. The aircraft involved was supposedly one of the team's Block 52 F-16Ds, which are used for media flights, camera ships, and as spares and stand-ins for the team's 6-ship demonstration. Supposedly the aircraft had landed in a gust of wind which affected the aircraft in some way, turning it over in one of the airport's movement areas. The weather was supposedly very poor at the time of the incident, with local CBS affiliate WHIO stating there was heavy rain in the area at the time. Rainfall rates in the vicinity exceeding 2 inches per hour, and also strong winds were also said to be present at the time of the crash. There seems to have been a pilot and someone else on board at the time of the crash. The reports are conflicting at this time, the story says, as to condition and whether they were trapped inside the aircraft. The crash comes just over a year after another Thunderbird F-16C crashed just before landing in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and less than 2 days after another F-16 crashed during takeoff at Ellington Field in Texas. Both incidents saw the pilot eject safely. In the case of the Ellington Field incident, the Block 52 F-16C remained almost totally intact, sitting off the runway. So there's at the bottom of this story there are some updates which have been posted on here at Pacific Standard Time, and just sort of the latest 2 updates really. One was at 11:30 a.m. PST there, which said that they're cutting away the canopy to get the pilot out. According to an on-site source, at this time it seems that they are in fair condition and working with the responders to exit the stricken jet. Another update, the last one on this site at 11:43 a.m. Says that Dayton Daily News reported that the second occupant had been removed from the F-16, which is great news, and they're just awaiting updates on their conditions. The Thunderbirds say this was a familiarization flight, so no guests were on board. As we've been doing the story, Matt's been putting the pictures on the YouTube
Yeah, I mean, they're
there.
not very good quality, but they do at least give you an indication as to the severity of what sort of happened, really. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, sad, because we saw these guys obviously in action at Pittsburgh.
Did, yeah, at Pittsburgh, yeah, absolutely.
And, but the guys put on a fantastic display, so it's sad. But at least it seems as though the pilots are both
nobody's sort of seriously hurt, as it were, which is got to be a good thing.
But we'll say the weather does look incredibly
unpleasant,
not very nice
moist,
there at all.
Moist, yeah.
Well, you can just turn it over, refuel it, and go again tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, nobody will notice. Yeah.
So the last bit we have for the news this week, we have got obviously we're famous for our top 10s on the show. This is actually a top 100, but I thought Matt would probably pull his hair.
I probably would have a meltdown, to be fair,
and everything else out if we done a top 100 on the show.
Absolutely.
So we've narrowed it down to our usual top 10.
Yeah.
This is the Skytrax World Airline Awards top 10 at the World Airline Awards held at the Paris Air Show on the 20th of June this year. Skytrax announced the world's top 100 airlines as voted by airline customers around the world. The awards, described as the Oscars of the aviation industry, are the most coveted quality accolades for the world airline industry and global benchmark of airline excellence. So we're going to start, as we always do, at number 10. So in at number 10, it's Guada, Indonesia.
Stuart, please, in at number 9.
Number 9, it's Hainan Airlines.
Owen, please, number 8.
Number 8 is Etihad Airways.
Carlos, it's new in at number 7.
It's the German airline Lufthansa.
Number 6, please.
Taiwan Airlines, Eva Air.
And we're into the top 5. Owen, please.
Number 5 is Cathay Pacific.
New in at number 4.
They used to be number 1, but they're number 4. It's Emirates.
Oh dear. It's slipping down to 3rd place there, number 3.
All Nippon Airways.
I like the pronunciation, very good. It's a new entry at number 2, please, Owen.
Number 2 is Singapore Airlines.
And finally, it's top of the charts. It is at the very, very top. It is number 1.
They were number 2 last year, but they're number 1. It's the world famous, everyone loves to pronounce it correctly, Qatar, croissants,
yeah, croissants, yeah.
cheese on toast.
We like food. We'll
it's
go with
Qatar Airways,
Absolutely.
number 1, the world's top 100 airlines there, as voted for.
But only number 10 because Matt would have cried if we did that.
Just to let you all know, you're probably all asking yourselves who was the 100th.
Oh yes,
that's actually given to Aero Mexico.
Who
were the 100th? And I'm just trying to find where our favourite airlines in the UK are in here. Oh,
number 76 is a Harp.
Oh, Harp Jet, number 76. Oh, and Nev Air, the famous BA.
Nevtech Airways.
They made it to number 40.
Okay.
Sorry, Nev. Sorry. But they did beat EasyJet, who were 41.
Okay, right. Okay, well, that's
Virgin Atlantic nipped there in 33.
Oh, really? They've done well. I'm just trying to find where Acme is.
What's the highest placed
Acme,
UK
31.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What's the highest placed UK airline?
airline.
That would be... Oh, blimey, I'm scrolling down
Possibly
the list.
I think it is Virgin Atlantic.
I think it's Virgin, Virgin Atlantic at 33, yeah, it does look that way.
I can't believe the Garuda Indonesians there at number 10. I don't even know if they still have the international standard to fly. That's what I was just wondering.
Is this one of these things where maybe significant sums of money have passed hands?
Actually, Steve Vischer's favourite airline, Tiger Air, they're in 90th place.
Right, okay. Yeah. With good reason, I fear.
How could Air Malta be 93rd?
Well, Carlos...
They should be in
How many times have you flown with them?
A few times, Owen.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a few times. They should have been in the top 2.
Yes. Isn't that the airline that was giving you a free massage or something silly? Was that Air Malta?
No, I forget which one that was now. We've done the story there.
Last week they had, or 2 weeks ago, they had something about a balcony livery that they were going to paint on the sides of the aircraft.
Yeah. I don't know.
Qatar Airways going to stay number 1 though with all their current troubles? They may not be flying to all destinations soon.
Yeah.
Troubles?
There may be trouble.
They've had their airspace closed off.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah.
Right. Not to do with the airline themselves, but more
it's politically
yeah.
sort of rubbish and stuff like
Them
that.
and the
Although with BA cabin crew striking sometime in the near future, BA are looking at wet leasing Qatar's aircraft.
Yeah.
Okay. While they're grounded, essentially. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and bring them over to the UK and getting them to fly the BA routes.
Yeah, because it's the Qatar regional fleet, isn't it? It's the A320 regional. So if they're not doing any business back home, and we're short, then bring them over here.
Yeah.
Apparently, Owen, Glenn Towler says that you need a decorator.
Oh, I need a decorator.
Yeah.
What's?
Yeah, I've been looking at those dots.
Yeah. There's a few holes in the wall and stuff behind you.
Well, yeah.
You know.
I'm not too fussed, to be honest with you.
Oh, bye, Liz. By the way, Liz.
Yes.
Liz is now off. Apparently, I think she's got to go. Bye, Liz.
Yeah, indeed.
Bye, Liz.
We're going to move on now, if that's all right with everybody.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I think what we'll do is we're going to welcome our house-trained pilot, who is going to discuss. Not you. It's all right. Don't panic.
I was going to say I'm not house
You're coming up later.
Yeah, your bit's coming later. So it's time to talk safety then with the man that is the king of safe jets. Let's welcome, please, the legend that is Pilot Pip with a very special video episode.
Plane safety from the flight deck with Pilot Pip.
Hi everybody, Pip here with a special video segment. I just planned this like 2 seconds ago, so I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. But I'm here at Sywell Aerodrome in Northamptonshire for my monthly greasy breakfast meeting with my good friend over here. Can I turn the camera around? Ah, damn it, I can't. With Captain Mike, 737 Captain Mike. You heard from him, there we go. He did a segment for us a couple of weeks back. And if you can hear that noise in the background, I don't know if you can pick this up, have a listen, turn the camera around. That is the sound of a Spitfire. It's just burst into life. We arrived here a little while ago. Oh look, this is the Blades aerobatic team down here. In that extra, I don't know what that is. What's that, Mike? Extra 300? Probably, yeah. Extra 300. These guys at the aerobatic team, they're always over my house practicing. They seem to use my house as a sort of reference point for doing their stuff, so they're just taxiing out. But anyway, we arrived here and that beautiful Spitfire, you can't quite see it, was out there, including the famous woman herself who runs and flies that thing, Caroline Grace. She was down there. I was going to pop over and say hi, but I didn't want to interrupt her at work. Here, look, this is Sywell Aerodrome. All sorts of stuff goes on here at Sywell. They've got the Blades, they've got police helicopters here, they've got air taxi companies. What else goes on here at Sywell?
That's about it, I think, really. A lot of servicing work.
A lot of servicing work, lots of GA stuff. Really nice little airfield. Does a good breakfast as well. You can see the remains of it there. Well, let's see if this Spitfire takes off. We'll come back to you in a second. Hey, let's see if we can zoom in on this. Where are you, Spitty? There it is. Look at this. Twin seat Spitfire Mark I don't know, I have no idea what mark it is. Oh, it's a Mark 9, Mike says. Oh yeah, look, there's the poster. Spitfire. Now you, if you want, dear listeners, you can have a go in this Spitfire for yourself. If you contact Matt and Carlos, they will pay for you to go and have a 20-minute spin, and it's only £2,000 for a 20-minute ride in that beauty. So get your wallet out, Carlos, because I want to go as well. Alright, I'll come back to it in a second. Let's see if it's going to take off. Hopefully it will. So here's the Spitfire. I don't know if you can quite see it there in the background. Rolling down. There it is. Now, I don't know if that's Caroline Grace herself at the wheel or if it's one of her able pilots. Very nice. Now, Mike, you were saying there's only how many of those twin seat things in the world? Whoa, whoa, that was a bit close up. String close up. Whoa, whoa.
Apparently 13, I think.
13 of them.
6 of which are flying.
6 flying.
Yeah.
There's the blades there. All coming out now. There's 3 of them down there. See if we can see that Spitfire where it's gone. Quite a low cloud base today. A little bit windy, which kind of makes a nice change from the sweltering heat we've had the last few days. And I don't know what runway it is they took off on. It's a southerly-esque facing runway, 2-1 or something like that. Right, let's go over here, see if we can find them underneath the clouds. Oh yeah, they're in the distance somewhere. I don't think the camera quite picks it up. Really nice, that is. Us again. Here's a little viewer competition for you. If anyone can work out and tell us what that thing is that Jeep is dragging behind, you could win. You could win a flight in a Spitfire. If you can work out what that is, because we don't know. We're thinking, is it some sort of friction measurement thing? No, I don't think so. Is it like a big broom for sweeping stuff off the runway? Don't think so either. Don't know what that is. Anyone got any ideas? Oh, don't hit that chieftain. Well, it can't be a broom because it just deposited a whole load of crap on the taxiway there. Very strange. Here's the Spitfire taxiing back in. Some lucky devil's £2,000 borer after 20 minutes. Lovely airplane. A little bit windy here today, you can see from the trees. I wonder what sort of limitations the Spitfire has on crosswinds, and I expect she takes great care of that and doesn't want to take any risks of it nosing over or being blown over in the wind. What a lovely looking machine, huh? Let's go over here. It taxis in past behind the blades in the extra 300s. I'll take some video from down there in a second as well. And here's the Spitfire taxiing back in. Another punter, £2,000 borer. Very nice. I don't think that's Caroline Grace in the back, is it?
No, I think it's one of the I think she's just walking away.
Oh yeah, that's Caroline Grace. There we go. The woman just walking around the way. That's the very famous Caroline Grace. Her husband started this off, I think. Isn't that right, Mike?
I believe so, yeah.
It was her husband who bought the Spit and originally displaying it, and he was either died or was killed in a crash. And she had a PPL at the time, and she decided to take over the thing and taught herself how to fly the thing. And this is her Spitfire. And as I say, you can rent it out for the bargain price of just £2,000 for 20 minutes. Oh, 2.5 for 20 minutes. So what, £7,500 an hour. That's an expensive day out. There we go, that guy looks very happy in the back there. Who's the punter, the guy in the back or the guy in the front?
The back, I believe.
Yeah, fantastic. Very, very nice. Okay, well, we're going to leave it at that. Until next time, folks, take care, fly safe.
video segments, eh?
I know. He's getting
a bit
posh, isn't he?
Posh, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Pip. Very kind of you as well. And it's nice to always see a Spitfire, I think, and hear one.
Yeah. You can't beat the noises. It's such a distinctive noise, the sound of the of a Spitfire firing it up and sort of. It's just great noise, isn't it?
It's great.
Indeed.
So don't forget, you can go over and find Pip over at the Plane Safety Podcast, where he's just released a brand new episode.
He has. Yes, and it's not being horrible about the fact he wasn't at Pittsburgh.
Not at all.
It's also
No.
nice,
No.
absolutely.
But I thought he just clarified in that video I can just ask you guys for a flight in that Spitfire and you would be accommodating.
Yeah, we're in a process of saving up for that. I managed to find 20 pence this morning.
Okay, well done, you. Yes, yeah.
Matt's managed to get a couple of quid out. So
yeah. Well, I can say, I should just say that Carlos has just lost his job, and I'm on minimum wage.
I'm unemployed from next Friday. So
absolutely. So maybe not this month, but no, seriously, Pip, thank you. That was a great little.
Yes, thank you, Pip.
The very sort of spontaneous, very sort of impromptu, but no, really good. Well
done.
What
are you going to say, Stuart?
Oh well, I was concerned that was the Spitfire that just crashed at Sywell earlier this week. There was a wheels up landing in a Spitfire, but we've just looked at the photos and I guess it must be one of their sister planes. But it was at Sywell this last week. One had a wheels up landing there.
Yeah, I think Richard King's put in the chat room that a two-seater had a gear collapse in the UK last week, but got flying again within a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
So Richard King's asking a trivia question, by the way. Why does the P-51 Mustang whistle in flight and the Spitfire
That
doesn't?
is to do with the air intakes. Yeah, the air intakes on the P-51 Mustang. When it goes into a deep dive, the air flows over the air intakes and it creates. It's a bit like doing the thing with the grunt, and it does the noise. So there we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. I'm sure I will. Hopefully, and fingers crossed.
Oh, yes,
Otherwise, I'll be out me. Proverbial.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So anyway, moving on, we have got obviously our latest and very warm welcome addition to the P2UK crew. Neville Bounds has sent us in another fantastic passenger experience segment for the show. So if you're ready, Matt, we're going to play that for you right now.
Hello everyone, Nev here again, and welcome to the second episode of Nev's Passenger Experience. This clip was recorded when I was in the beautiful island of Santorini in Greece with my industry colleagues, and I was talking to our host Neil, and he does a lot of travelling around the world both for business and pleasure, and he's a big British Airways customer and other airlines as well. And we started talking about the level of service that we're experiencing on some of these airlines, and unfortunately it's another sad story. So I first asked Neil who he flies with most of all.
Well, I travel mainly with BA, and I've had some really quite unfortunate incidents recently. Obviously, like a number of people, I was caught up with the delays that the computer snag, if we call it a snag, and what occurred then. Fortunately, they were brave enough to give us compensation very quickly and extended my silver card for another 2 years. However, for me, this is just kind of papering over the cracks of a declining airline. We, very, very fortunately, were placed on a Qatar Airlines flight from Doha instead of the BA flight from Dubai. We were in business class, and the quality on Qatar was just far, far above the service and the conditions now that you get on BA. It's very tired. Staff are pretty demotivated, and you just don't get the level of service that you would expect, having paid quite a lot of money to actually fly with them.
Do you think that the problem that they've got is that in some cases they're trying to replicate the low-cost model that EasyJet and Ryanair have got, but they've not really understood how that model works?
Well, I think they've almost surpassed themselves in the replication of that model, because I think the service that you get from EasyJet now, it actually surpasses what you get from British Airways. The experience that we had coming to Santorini, when it took 2.5 hours to get the trolley from the front to the back, and on my count, I reckon that there were probably about 130 passengers in economy, and to serve those people with one trolley with 2 people, having to cope with the transactions of credit card transactions while you're doing it, to me, it was just absolutely outrageous. And certainly you would have got far better and far quicker service on an EasyJet flight.
Remember, we were talking about this the other night as well, that if BA decided to put 30 quid on the cost of an economy ticket, but actually the food was free, in inverted commas, at least people would get served promptly, wouldn't they?
I think so. I don't think people, certainly in economy, don't expect to have that much food. They've come to know that what they get with BA, certainly in economy, is not that luxurious. It's pretty basic, but it's free and it's quick. And it kind of fills a gap. And to have to wait for 2.5 hours, and certainly the people behind us didn't get any food because there wasn't any food left by the time they got there, so they'd underestimated that as well. And I think it shouldn't be news to them to know how many passengers are flying, so that they should staff it accordingly, and they should actually have enough food on there to make sure that everybody at least gets fed.
I was talking to a few people around the pool here earlier on, and they were saying how fantastic the customer service was from the hotel. And I think these guys really do understand the meaning of hospitality. I'm just wondering if the airlines have got to wake up a little bit now.
Well, I think they do have to wake up. And the thing is, not only is the service pretty appalling now, but the attitude of the staff is appalling. And I had an incident, again, on the Santorini flight, with one of the stewardesses who was quite insulting towards me, and I've been asked by the manager of the flight to now put in a report, which I will do, and even the passengers sitting in the row in front of us, who I don't know, were sympathising with me because they said that what she said was just so poor and in such bad taste that I'm a customer, and I think they've lost sight of that. Well, I think actually she did check with the manifest a bit later, and I think she was a little bit worried about that. And obviously, she could see me talking to the manager of the flight, and I think she was obviously quite concerned. But again, allegedly, she was quite rude to another passenger as well. So if that's the level of service they think is acceptable, to me, it's totally unacceptable, and it does make you wonder why you actually use that airline.
Perhaps next time you're going to the Middle East, you might rethink about what airline you're going to choose to do that with.
Well, I think now that they've extended my silver card for 2 more years, there's no reason why I should fly with BA at all if I go to the Middle East shortly. And so I will definitely use another airline, because the experience I had with Qatar, and I understand it's very similar with people like Etihad and with Emirates, I would definitely not choose BA again.
What a shame, isn't it? But anyway, superb. Thanks very much, Neil, for talking to us, Neil. And thank you for arranging such a superb trip as well.
Pleasure as always, Nev.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go. And well, sterling work, as always, from Mr. Neville Bounds.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, this is really turning into, for me especially, as someone who hasn't done much flying and stuff, it is genuinely fascinating sort of hearing a little bit more from the other side of those who are doing it on a regular basis and how the industry is changing. It's really fascinating.
Now, I spoke to Neville this morning, and Neville's got I think he's got 14
Something
of
like
these
that,
lined
so
up.
we've got a great little segment,
great little bits and pieces to come in the coming weeks.
Absolutely.
And obviously Neville will be more prominent on the show each week with us as a host.
I should just say it's all right for this lot here. They're busy showing up bottles of beer every time they have a sort of sup of something or other else, which is just annoying, frankly. Poor old me, look here with his little. But I am in what I have got. My new fancy branded Plain Talking UK mugs look. So it's. I'm on the coffee.
Available for mail order?
They are available for mail order if you want one, actually, yes. They're £16 each if you'd like one. But, yes, absolutely.
And, that's £400 delivery from Royal Mail.
You really do have it in for the Royal Mail today,
I know.
don't you?
But thank you very much for that, Nev. That's very kind of you.
I'm surprised he was happy to broadcast something that was bad-mouthing BA, though.
No.
I think he's a realist at the end of the day.
Okay.
He's
to be fair, I think Nev's got he has got pretty much like a 60 or 70% share in BA, so he could say pretty much what he wants. But no, thanks again for that, Nev. Well done, and we'll hopefully have you on next week on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have to say, when I flew with BA City Flyer about a month ago, they were absolutely fantastic, and there was no extra charges for the food. Food is beautiful and came out free. What do you want? and I think I had a chicken salad and a chocolate brownie for dessert, maybe.
Oh, hello!
It was amazing, really, really good.
But I think
and those Embraer 190s are really comfortable.
Yeah.
I think City Flyer are a completely separate operation, really, apart from the BA bit at the beginning.
Right. Is it
are they?
flown under franchise type thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they were called before. I think they were they? No, they weren't Go. They were something else
right,
before they became the BA
right,
City.
sort of like affiliated to British Airways.
Okay.
Oh, you see. Carlos will Google it in a minute. It's fine. He
he
seems a bit busy doing
City Flyer is a separate company in reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we are.
So I'm just typing away in the chat room.
Are you?
Very
right,
sorry.
Okay, you know.
So moving on from
nice of you to join us.
Sorry, yes, I know. I'm trying to keep the chat room amused.
Welcome back, Carlos.
I'm trying to draw the chat room away from talking about food.
Right. Okay. Good luck with that. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
I know. So as you all know, guys and girls, we do have obviously Stuart in the chat in the studio with us.
Yeah, right.
He's in the chat room as well, to be fair. But we do have Stuart in the studio with us this week. He's been my CFI. He's also been. He's flew the parachute, the Cessna 208 Caravan.
I basically the last 8 years of me working at Lambert's in Beccles there, I've basically had him dive bombing our yard for 8 years constantly, about 15,000 times a day. I swear you beat those parachutists down.
Yeah, the objection.
It's the music. It's the music he has on his iPlayer when he's flying. It's
right. Incoming. Yeah, absolutely.
So again, Stuart, thanks for joining us in the studio this evening. And we last spoke to you at Seething last year at the air show, and you were just doing your thing, flying the Caravan,
floating around with the Caravan.
Floating around, So
hence I brought the hat in as well.
Yeah, I know the Caravan hat, very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's happened
there
since last year? There've been some developments,
haven't there, in the world of
in the world of Stuart.
In the world of Stuart.
I've kind of ruined it by just writing in the forum.
Everyone knows that he flies for Baby Airlines.
Yes, okay.
Yes, Baby Airlines I'll be starting with in August.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, you've been sort of looking for something a bit more sort of what I call general, I suppose, for quite a long time. I mean, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
I must admit, I was a bit upset though with myself the last couple of years because I just got kind of comfortable where I was.
Yeah.
And it's only last year when I started seeing lots of my friends getting other jobs. I was like, wow, they've all got lower hours than me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I actually said to my current company, I don't know if I can say that, that I'm leaving in August, in April. And I set myself a deadline. I was leaving, and then once I forced myself to do that, then I started proactively job hunting. Yeah, and fortunately, I've already got an offer.
Wow. So what? I mean, obviously, these things are very different to like the Caravan, obviously, that we're very familiar with you flying around.
Oh yeah.
What's the work involved in sort of? I mean, is it? It's not really a type rating, is it? I mean, it's.
Well, I will be commencing my type rating training in August. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it will be quite different. I mean, I've done a type rating as such. It's a class rating in a Cessna Caravan, but a type rating is a very intensive course. It'll be my first one, so I can't really tell you too much.
No.
There's I don't know 50 hours in the sim, followed by 30 minutes when you do 6 real touch and goes in the aircraft as your base training.
Wow.
And then you're let loose on the airline, but then you fly with a training captain for 50 to 100 routes.
Wow.
And then once you've accomplished those and they're happy, then you're let loose on the live line.
So Pip's asking the chat room a question, one of the first questions in the chat room for you, Stuart. He's asked, where will you be based, and are you going to be flying the Embraer 145?
Affirm. The Embraer 145 and 135. It's a pretty much similar type rating, and Bristol will be my initial base.
Wow, so it's a few miles from where we are here, on the east of Anglia.
Yes. Yeah. But the restaurant will still be open.
Thank goodness for
that.
Thank goodness. What a relief.
But I'll be commuting back at the weekends, on my 3 days off kind of thing.
Oh, good. So Richard King has asked Stuart, do you fly mainly at weekends and on bank holidays, slowing up all the traffic?
How rude.
Is that what he means?
No, I'll be driving in my Jag in the middle of the night on the M25.
I think it's a reference to the Caravan.
Oh, the Caravan.
I think.
The Caravan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Does he fly Airways routes?
I don't know.
At the Banham, the Cessna Caravan at Beccles can often hold up the Airways at Banham. Well,
it's held me up in the past. Yeah. I don't know about anyone else.
How is that possible when the person who usually flies it is your instructor? How does that work?
That's what I think. That was the last time one of the first times I was solo actually, and that was Stuart's fault. I was stuck. Orbiting over the coast.
Orbiting over the coast. You make it sound like you're sort of 300 miles in the air.
I know, that's what it's called. Stuart will back me up on this.
Orbiting, holding.
Holding.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, a lot of
question
pilots.
for Stuart, and it comes from Pip. Just how hopeless is Carlos at flying?
Now there's a question.
Now I did snigger when I saw that. I wasn't going to mention that question.
Now you see, we were trying
to bring it up, Owen.
We were trying to draw him on this.
I don't know about bringing it up. Pip's going to bring something up soon.
Indeed, absolutely. So come on, Ed. Come on, spill the beans. How is he doing? Obviously, I know he's not had a few hours.
On hold at the minute.
He's still orbiting, I'm afraid. Well, we haven't flown for so long, have we? We've also had the issue of Beccles actually losing their license with regards to training.
Yeah, indeed. But because I know last time we spoke, you were sort of badgering him to get on with it, and gone.
Which I did, and then the club lost its bloody license, and then that was all. Yeah.
But they should be getting it back. Just a little sideline there to promote Beccles.
Excellent. Okay.
But your flying was fine. We were sending you solo. You were navigating.
Yeah.
It's for everyone progresses in different ways, and
there we go. Pip.
I'm not going to big him up too much, and I'm not going to knock him down too much.
Please do not feed the ego. It's bad enough as it is. My goodness.
He's obviously passionate about aviation. Obviously, he wouldn't be broadcasting this show, and he shows it when we fly.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I will say this for you, Carlos. I've never met anybody who has such an unhealthy obsession of aircraft. It is unnerving, frankly. It's just like every gadget that you ever buy has some kind of aviation-related theme.
Yeah, I did drive not so long ago, like 4 hours or something, 4.5 hours to go and see Adrian Meacham to fly with Adrian. That's the dedication.
Yeah,
but no,
yeah.
I'd love to come see you again, Adrian.
You're lovely.
Are you talking to Adrian there, or are you talking to the plane?
Oh well. Actually, no, because we didn't actually get to fly Adrian's 150 at the time. No, because that was US with a radio. But no, he's got it back. He was actually flying in last weekend in Shady Lady, his aircraft. So hopefully, I'll be. I'll have lots of time, on my hands at the end of this month. I might have a trot across.
Gemma is not going to allow you to do anything fun until you've got a new job. You realise that, don't you?
Yeah.
That's why we need to find you a new job that covers both.
A job with aviation.
Yeah, exactly. You should just come and work for Harbjet.
You see, look, I have an issue with this, because anybody who's spent a little bit of time with Carlos will know what I'm about to say here, and Owen, I'm sure you can back me up on this. Can you imagine Carlos doing some kind of service when it comes to dealing with the public and their needs? I mean, can you imagine?
Or you could work for Swissport and throw bags all day long.
Well, I can do that.
Yeah,
we've seen the videos of that.
Yeah, he'll destroy them like any expert ever can. It'll be absolutely.
Another question from Pip Stuart in the chat room. Will you keep your
FI rating? Current? I'm hoping to.
BMI
policy on external work isn't so friendly, but I'm hoping I can conquer that. I'm also still hoping to help out parachute flying, possibly on PPL privileges if it's covered. Because they also need me. I'm training up a new chap to fly the Cessna Caravan at Beccles now. And I'm also actually considering doing the examiner rating shortly as well. Once I get a few, I need for the Caravan. I only know for instructing in general. I only need 50 more hours of instructing. I can apply for examiner rating.
Oh wow!
Oh, very good. You can get me through my PPL. So
there
you go. That's 50 hours for you right there.
Answers on an email to Stuart.
Yeah.
Lane Street has asked Stuart, was all of your 208 Caravan flying paradrops?
Pretty much, yes. I've obviously done a lot of repositioning flights and back and forth from maintenance. That's the common one. I did do a brief only a few days flying in Suzy Air in a 208, just around for work experience in Indonesia.
Wow.
Where else did I do 208 flying?
Lane has actually asked as well, have you ever flown one of those on floats?
No.
Would you like to?
I would very much like to. I've just met a chap when I was doing the caravan training course this last week. Actually, it's what he does, flying caravans on float. So might be an opportunity in the future.
Because you've been flying in the last few weeks. You've been flying in Denmark and stuff. What's that been like? Flying, in their airspace as opposed to the usual that you're used to here.
Well, it's in a foreign language, meant to be in English, but they all speak Danish. And what really didn't help was that I had a radio PTT button that wasn't working properly.
Oh.
So trying to speak clear, concise English on Danish frequencies wasn't that easy. And it was a busy drop zone with a military and a civil airspace above it as well.
So you're doing the power drops there as well while you're in right, okay.
So I was just freelance for, and their pilot, their plane was a UK registered one. So I was flying it to the maintenance base in the UK for them, and then back, and then did some parachute dropping there. Yeah.
Wow, what a busy!
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
I was actually dropping the Danish military. They were doing static line training. So
that's pretty cool.
Tony S.
That is pretty cool.
In the chat room, Stuart has asked, with the hours that you've got, which looking by this book that's lying to my left hand side here, and your vast experience, did you try and get into a mainline carrier?
Well, yeah, eventually I'd like to. Yeah, it's not that easy. You need to have 500 hours on a multi-crew aircraft and hours on a large type for most of the mainline guys, or pay for a type rating.
Or pay, yeah.
Looking forward though, Stuart, to the future. Now, when you've got the million hours in the book and stuff, is there any airline you'd like to possibly fly for? Given the UK airline, let's just say, obviously because you're in the UK.
Well, I don't want to, ruin my chances already.
Basically, he'll pimp himself out to whoever it is that will take him.
Obviously, all the CEOs watch the show, so they all.
Do they? Right.
It's good promotion for you.
Is it?
I'll be honest. Obviously, always used to think the dream was BA. I'm now not so sure. I don't know if I want to be in a seniority-based, waiting 10 years for a command airline. I really thought I wanted to be in Aer Lingus up till I didn't get the job. But no, even that, and then I've heard, I don't know if I really want to fly long haul on an A320. And then I have been questioning myself recently: do I want to fly long haul in the future? I've always thought I want to go to those exotic destinations, but a lot of the guys who work in long haul say you fly long haul for 5 years, it takes 10 years off your life. Just the uncomfortable kind of the circadian rhythm.
The best person to ask about that would be Nick.
Yeah,
because Captain Nick.
Yeah, because he's only 35, but he looks about 70.
He is. Yeah. He's he was 21 a few weeks ago. But,
sorry, Nick. Love you really.
Nick does a lot of long haul.
Yeah, he does.
Captain Nick, because you've met Captain Nick, haven't you?
Yeah.
He flies for Acme Red.
Yeah, and they came to the Christmas show. They came for Munchies before we started. A question from Richard King, and we sort of touched on this earlier in the show.
I like this question.
They're saying, do you beat the Paras to the ground, or do you have to hold to ensure they're all on the ground first? I mean, what's the ideal, I suppose?
It depends on the drop zone and the operations. Sometimes they land in different areas, and in bad weather days. Not that we ever drop in bad weather days. I should clarify. But if bad weather suddenly sneaked in after the drop, I'm on camera. Sometimes I have had to hold off in IFR conditions. Obviously, we can't see the canopies. But normally, I can't always beat all of the jumpers because there's 14 to 17 sometimes in the back in the Grand Caravan. So the first ones will often get down before me, and the camera guys as well. They will race down
rocket down
because they need to pick up their cameras to film the next one.
For the listeners, then, Stuart, what's the difference between the Grand Caravan and the usual standard Cessna 208 Caravan?
So the 28 and the 28B. Well, with the ones that I've been flying, I haven't flown. There's the Grand EX with the larger engine. But they're actually the relatively older ones, the 28 and 28B, are both the same size engine, so it's quite strange really. A massive airframe with an extra few hundred pounds of fuselage on it, takes an extra 3 people, but it only has the same engine as the short one that I like to fly. I prefer the short one. It's more manoeuvrable, a bit more nimble off the ground. But saying that, the Grand is longer. In bad weather it's more stable.
Hasn't the Grand got that extra cargo space as well?
No, the cargo pod is optional on all of them.
Okay.
I think you can get a cargo pod on a 182, a 206. Yeah, cargo pods are just extra options.
Mike is asking, do you get extra points for every parachute you pick off on the way down? It's like, you score points depending on what happens. Yeah.
Actually, we have got another 208 Caravan parachute aircraft pilot in the chat room.
Oh, have we?
Dr. Steph.
Ah,
yeah,
right.
Stephanie Platt. Yeah, Dr. Steph's there. Yeah, Steph is. You two have got on like a house on fire, Stuart. Actually, yeah.
We're trying to persuade them to come and spend a bit of time this way next time they come to the UK, because they're talking about coming next year. We're trying to persuade them to.
Richard King has asked Stuart, does the centre of gravity shift wildly when the guys exit?
Cool.
The
Yeah,
aircraft?
I bet, because that's quite a weight differentiation.
Can do. Yeah. With experience, it's actually pretty easy. But when I first started, it's a lot of movement and there's constant trim changes. But I get later on with experience, you just kind of do it naturally. The big problem is though when they do big formation exits, and suddenly you'll have like 4 or 5 hanging off the outside of the aircraft, while another 4 or 5 are in the door frame, and boom, they all jump out at once.
And that's quite dramatic.
Really when when a half of your payload has gone out at once. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I've had all 14 run out at once.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, the worst one is really when they're all doing that, when they're gearing up for it as well. They all cram up to the door because they're all waiting for the green light. They're like a herd of
lemmings, ready to
basically waiting to throw off, looking up at the light. Oh, green light! Where's the green light?
Now.
But the worst thing is that they all start getting closer and closer to the back, and as they get closer and closer to the back, the COG of it really does tip. And there's been moments when we're at a low, slow airspeed with the nose pointing down, in a configuration really that the aircraft shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
And you hear the stall warning going off, and you've got low power setting, and you're trying to hold it there, and then suddenly it really stalls, and then the nose tips up, and you look behind, and you're putting in power, and they're just all at the back of the plane going, "What's something wrong?"
Yeah. What happened? It's just like so. Now I seem to recall because I've had a couple of friends who've done charity jumps from UK parachuting, which is where the one at Ella operates under, I think, isn't it? And they're saying that I think is it 2 altitudes that you quite often drop at.
Yeah, Lane Street has said, what altitude do you drop at?
13,000 is the preference for all of the club jumpers.
Okay.
I was just flying in Denmark though, up to 15,000.
Right.
Above 10, the idea is that you have to be able to get back down below 10 within 15 minutes because of the air density. So people passing out, etc.
Oh, I see.
And in that case, do you use oxygen if you go above 10,000?
Not on this Caravan. It means a lot of extra equipment being fitted.
Right.
But generally in the parachute world as well, they only just put 1 oxygen bottle, and it's normally empty with a tube out if they are going above it.
Right, okay.
Not to discredit any particular parachute operators, but we don't have that gear fitted on our plane.
Yeah.
Dr. Steph said they do 14,000 feet.
Yeah.
Where she's sort of Carolina's sort of area of the US, but.
Different operators offer different altitudes. Normally it's an upgrade sales thing, so a big thing at the moment, I don't know if you guys know, is Groupon. Don't know if that
Groupon, yeah, we've all heard of Groupon, I think. Yeah.
Glenn Towell is asking, have you seen any horse-eating nuggets? What on earth?
They're talking about chicken nuggets.
Oh, they are, right. Yeah. Okay, I was just thinking, is that some kind of term I'm not familiar with?
Actually, one of the
new McDonald's special.
One of the questions I'm surprised no one in the chat room's asked you yet, Stuart, is have you yourself jumped out of Cessna Caravan?
Don't be ridiculous.
Jump out of an aeroplane. Don't be daft.
What's wrong with you? Yes, absolutely.
Who would do such a foolish thing?
Absolutely.
Because Dr. Steph is actually not only a pilot, but she's also
a jumper as well.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
that's just a crazy combination.
But she obviously converted and upgraded to flying the planes.
She's got to go back to her patient now, sadly, so she's going to see us all
leave
later.
them, Steph. They'll be fine.
No, it's all right. No,
just
did she start jumping first and then get into flying?
I don't know. Steph?
I don't know.
Jumping first.
Does anybody
flying?
know the answer to that before we? She's too late. She's gone. Never mind. What's your best time? This is Richard King is asking the question here. What's your best time from drop to back on the ground?
Oh, the wave! God, blimey!
I've never actually timed it. So
what? God,
no, I haven't.
I can assure you
the SOP's talking.
I can assure you from Lambert's Yard, it looks like about 10 seconds from the minute they fall.
I've sat right seat with Stuart in the Caravan after a drop, and it is blooming quick.
Yeah.
Because my stomach went from here to here in a matter of seconds. So yeah.
Yeah. Wilhelm is suggesting that you basically just press the auto land button, right? Is that what happens? Yeah.
I wish it was that easy. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think you were
on
saying
the busy days.
You were saying before, Stuart, a while back that there isn't actually an autopilot on the Caravan that you fly.
Not on my particular one.
No.
There's no auto trim either.
Yeah.
That's the really frustrating thing. Electric trim would be really nice. Yeah. Most Caravans have it. Our Caravan is actually they brought it brand new from Wichita, and ordered it. When it came off, it was the lightest Cessna off the production line they'd ever had.
Really?
Because they'd gone with the bare minimal model.
Right.
Wow. So it does look nice though. It does look really nice.
It's a proper beast.
Yeah. Just for parachuting.
Tony S has pointed out a really good question actually, that if Stuart did jump, I mean, who would land the plane?
That is a good point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'd get through a few Caravans.
Yeah. Absolutely. That can prove to be quite
Point
expensive.
it out to the coast, they'll be fine. Be fine.
That's what the auto land button is for.
Yeah, well,
that's it. Yeah,
absolutely.
It'd be just like an Airbus, wouldn't it? You know, it's got the auto takeoff button, auto land button, auto drinks dispenser button, and
right.
Okay. Apparently
good.
so.
Yeah. Hey, now I don't want auto drinks dispensers.
Yeah. Let's not put him out of work. Yeah, absolutely.
I quite like my job. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we round up, then Stuart, what are the plans for the future? Obviously, you're now going to start your new career. You're going to stick with it for a while and to get your hours in.
Well, I was planning on retiring next year.
Well, I know. Well, with the restaurant the way it is, you probably could. Yeah, to be fair.
No, just take it as it comes. I've really enjoyed my career so far. I've done all kinds of random flying in the UK and internationally, aerial photography, survey flying, now parachute flying, now regionals. And I just
Lane's just asking, and I seem to recall that it is the roll-up door, isn't it? It's got a roll-up door on the Caravan.
Yes, it has. Yeah. It's not an automatic shutting one, which is quite frustrating in the winter.
I can imagine.
Cold as well. Once they've all jumped out, it is blooming cold.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're just gonna wish you all the best of luck, really, Stuart, for the future. Yeah, and make sure you keep in touch. Send us a few snaps that we can pop on to the Twitter feed. 'Cause I'm sure the listeners would love to see how you're progressing. And
maybe when I've come back, once I've type rated and flown the line, I can come and tell you a bit more.
Definitely, you'd be more than welcome. Great, whenever you're this way, my friend, you are welcome to join us whenever you like. Okay, we're going to move very quickly on now. We've got a nice little bit of audio feedback from the lovely Barbara to look forward to before we wrap up the show. So brace yourselves, here we go.
Hi Carlos and Matt, it's Barbara. I have some very recent aviation news for you and the listeners that I suddenly found myself caught up in. It's a situation that I didn't think I would ever be involved with, and one which I never hoped to ever witness. And after the initial shock, it has just left me very angry. I can't give all the details to you at this stage, but I was up at an airport, which for certain reasons at this stage I would like to remain nameless. So I was up at this airport earlier this week doing a bit of plane watching. It was beautiful weather. I got there quite late in the evening and it was very, very busy with large passenger and cargo planes arriving and taking off. I couldn't believe my eyes. Some lads arrived in a car and got a drone out right in front of me. I couldn't believe my eyes at first and I thought, no, they can't be. And then I thought, no, he's not going to switch it on. And he switched it on. Crossed the road to the perimeter fence, right at the end of the runway. Right at the end of the runway, where the landing lights are. By this time, my shock turned to panic and I was just about to phone the police when the airport security car just happened to pass by behind the perimeter fence. The drone never managed to get airborne, thank goodness, but to cut a long story short, the police have had to get involved. I managed to get some vital information at the time, which has helped the airport police considerably, including quite stunning photos of the whole incident that I caught on my mobile camera. Maybe I will share them with you at a later date, but I will try to keep you up to date on the latest news appropriate to give, should it come my way. Obviously, I can't share any more information because I don't want to jeopardise police investigations. So that is all I can say for now about that, except please be vigilant, all you plane watchers and spotters, because if it happened to me, then it can happen to you, and report anything suspicious. Your airport needs you.
Find this and other great shows at the Aviation Media Network.
TheVoicesInYourHead.com.
The Plane Talking UK podcast is a voluntary project that aims to keep you informed with the latest aviation-related stories from newswires across the globe.
Producing our content does cost money though. If you enjoy our show, why not help us keep on the air by making a donation towards the server and website hosting fees through PayPal. Any contributions would be greatly appreciated.
Are you an Amazon user? If so, why not do your shopping through the link on our website? There's no cost to yourself, and Amazon pay us a small referral fee on qualifying purchases.
To find out more about the show and to meet the team, take yourself to our website www.planetalkinguk.com,
or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/planetalkinguk, on Twitter via @planetalkinguk, or get in touch via email on podcast@planetalkinguk.com. Thanks for listening.
Flybe 5823, Trent Dane for 23R Manchester, Wizz Air 6X, climb flight level 210, direct to Bretlands Park. United 123, maintain 280 knots. London 2TME, turn right onto Bravo, link, 21 join Alpha, hold at Mora, Speedbird 472, LOC/DME, approach runway 27 left, follow the green stand 544.
That's enough air traffic control for today, Nat. Bedtime.
Aviation media has long been the domain of the newspapers and magazines.
Well, not anymore. I'm Steve Vischer.
And I'm Grant McCarran, and we're bringing aviation right into your radio.
Yes, we're making aviation cool and interesting for everyone.
Hang on, aviation's always been cool. Check this out.
How cool is this? Grant, turn that down. Here at Plane Crazy Down Under, we've got pilots, engineers, air traffic controllers, industry leaders, even politicians dropping by to talk to us about the amazing world of aviation right here in Australia and occasionally New Zealand as well.
Wow, that's cooler than I thought, mate.
Find us at planecrazydownunder.com, on iTunes, or lurking about on other people's podcasts just like this one.
We've got crazy accents and lots of great aviation content.
And we promise not to talk about the cricket.
No, never. Not the cricket. Quack, 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 quack. What is cricket anyhow?
Something we win a lot. Oh, there
Oh!
You know, some people will never learn.
I know. I mean,
I think if you had it tattooed to their head, they wouldn't understand that it's just not.
Why don't people? I just don't get it. I mean, it's just like so many good points here in this. Like Glenn Taylor saying you need a shotgun. You saying like, you know, when will people? Why won't people ever learn? You've got Mark Harvey. Glad you were there to get the pictures to pass on, Barbara. I hope they throw the book at them.
Well done, Barbara.
Tony was saying that's why we. Good point here from Tony. Actually, that's why we need humans in control towers. Never mind all this. You know, where we covered stories I think last week and the week previously where they're talking about having remotely operated.
London City Airport, computerized in a basement.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's. We need people, you know, sort of watching the thing really, and
they're developing all kinds of things for taking down drones. Though I saw eagles that would train to catch them, and laser guns that will convert their frequency, so they bring them back down.
Again, a lot of people are saying in the chat room that they're concerned that there may actually be, you know, a little bit of police apathy when it comes to this sort of thing. I mean, I'd like to think that perhaps, given how serious
Mike has said, stop worrying about taking the drones down, take down your operators. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
very good point.
I think I also wonder if this information will end up with this person being prosecuted. I know there's a big thing with with the lasers and in pilots' eyes. I know there's a thing they were hoping to pass some legislation and now that's been taken off the books. So the thing is, they've been catching people, but they haven't been able to prosecute them.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of those perimeter fences do say that you can't touch those perimeter fences, or you can't be near to the, within a certain distance of them. So possibly could be prosecuted under trespassing, if nothing else.
On another ticket.
Yeah, I mean, Richard King said they can be prosecuted under ANO, whatever that means.
Air navigation order.
Yeah. Okay. So it's.
I think this is I think the whole. This whole problem is not something that's going to go away in the next year or 2 years. It's going to,
Interestingly, Barbara said here in the chat room the police were very interested and were phoning her back very quickly. So I'm glad that they're sort of taking it very seriously.
I mean, great news. Well done, Barbara.
Yeah. Well done, Barbara. Thanks for sending that in, Barbara.
Yeah.
We're saying just during that bit as well that I've been and purchased myself one online, a quadcopter, and it was £48. And it's got a full HD camera, quadcopter with Wi-Fi and everything.
Yeah. So this is the problem. Every child has had one for Christmas.
Yeah, every child. Yeah,
absolutely.
They're selling these things pre-charged, ready to go at the airports.
Yeah.
And this is what I don't understand, because as soon as you put people onto the ramp, especially with the low-cost carriers, all of those will be walking out onto the aircraft rather than using the jet bridge or the air bridge. And what's to stop people from just starting them up there and then? And it's becoming an issue.
You're relying on people to be vigilant, aren't you? You're relying on people to sort of, airport staff, if you like, to just sort of. I mean, they've got enough to do, really. They have, they won't be worried about blooming.
You never know. Harpjet might get some of these little drones to use on board the aircraft to deliver the paninis and stuff.
Right. Okay.
No?
I'm not going to say anything about that.
No, I don't know what to do with that information. You are determined to have poor Owen out of a job in no time, are you? It's going to have Amazon-style drones delivering food in service.
That would be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you not ever you've not ever sort of wanted to have one of those DJI Phantoms or anything, Stuart? Are you not into the kind of?
No, I've actually been given remote control helicopter, remote control planes at Christmas before, just the little mini ones.
Yeah.
Never even got them out of the package. I know, it's shocking.
Really?
I couldn't bother to find some batteries.
No, that's basically because Stuart gets to fly the real thing.
Well, I suppose there is that.
It was a very nice cousin who gave me one, and I was like, okay, thank you. But
okay,
he's paid to fly the real thing.
The real problem with these drones, I was just thinking though, is in the future, because the technology is massive now. As you just said, they're even selling them at the airport to the kids. And the kids are getting them at Christmas, Carlos.
Yeah.
But these are the VFR flying ones, can fly in just VFR conditions. But I guess they're going to get better and better. They're going to fly at night. They're going to fly in strong winds, in bad weather. And that's when it's really I mean, at least at the moment, we can still see them. I was just thinking, could get a lot worse in the future.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that is unusual for us to end on a sort of slightly.
Actually, is that the ending? Oh, sorry.
Can I just say that Richard King has just said, check out the DJI Spark. Well, I just did check out the DJI Spark, and if you've got £519 to buy one, you can buy one.
I'll tell you what, though, one of my mates is Owen. Can you remember which one it was? I think that was a Phantom, wasn't it, that he had?
I think that was a Phantom.
Yeah. My friend Sam's got one of these drones, and he's been. I mean, it does. He takes it because he lives around here.
I've seen the videos that Sam's done.
And he goes out into the fields, and that's absolutely fine. So he's doing it nowhere near anyone else. He's not doing it in built-up areas or anything like that. And he's got these amazing.
Does he have a drone license?
For this particular, he doesn't need one for what he's using it for. Now, having said that, because we've been talking to him about, like, with some of our outside broadcasts that we're doing, because his particular unit does have a live broadcast function built into it that our system here can actually tap into. And he, to be fair, because even I don't know, was that actually had the common sense to say, actually, I'm not sure that's something I can do, because I do need to have a license in order to be able to do anything that involves filming and recording something sort of like that's going out live.
But he was having a very serious conversation about because we were talking about it together when we were in London that time, and he was having a very serious conversation about actually doing this, and so that it would be possible for things like this and for other little bits and bobs to.
But seriously, I mean,
broadcast.
the quality out of these cameras is
stunning.
Absolutely
Actually,
stunning.
Willem in the chat room has just said that DJI also have a drone with built-in ADS-B.
What's that?
Wow.
That means that you can use your flight radar.
You know when you get your
And
phone
track
out and I
these.
say there's Stuart going over in the Caravan.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
there he is on Flight Radar 24.
Yeah.
He's got ADS-B out, and that's what ADS-B.
I mean,
is.
this
is it aviation data sending? I can't remember what the ADS bit.
Aircraft data.
Yeah, I mean, somebody else was saying,
but
say again, like
that's
with,
great if it's got that in.
It's got this amazing thing, like because it talks to his iPhone as well while it's doing. So you can literally walk and the thing will follow you.
Oh yeah,
and keep you at a certain distance. I mean, they are amazing bits of kit, and if you have the common sense to use them, I mean, I love drones. It's just, as you say, as Barbara's sort of quite rightly highlighted here. Some of the people flying these things are chuffing idiots. I mean,
ADS-B, Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast.
Yep.
There we go.
I should have known that, but yeah. I was just going to say, I think the majority of drone operators are idiots, but we should credit there is a small minority who are certified and they invest a lot of money in getting their licenses.
Yeah.
And there's two operators that I've met in East Anglia, a chap south of Halesworth and an operator out of Norwich. They spent a lot of money on their licenses, their equipment. They've got backup redundancy systems, and when they do fly, they put NOTAMs on the local area, so the local air pilots, the pilots who check their NOTAMs will know of their operations.
That they're operating in a certain zone and a certain area.
They've invested a lot of money to be where they are, and good luck with them. But unfortunately, there's a majority of drone operators
because hopefully they get to sell their shots to people like the BBC or things like that.
Yeah. Solar panel farms. That's what these guys were doing a lot of.
Okay.
Surveying. Cool. What you mean, like the ones we have on the
at Beccles?
Yeah.
So they've come and done Beccles a few times, but they've NOTAM'd it and they've got permission from the airfield.
Okay.
And they've put a NOTAM out, and Norfolk Broads filming as well, and farming is a big thing. Normally it's done with. I've done a lot of survey work of farms. The farmers want all their fields surveyed, see how big their crops
are. Yes,
but drones can't do it all year round. Normally they're limited by winds and weather.
Yeah, and they do. I mean, they're operating on battery, so with the best will in the world, they have quite a short shelf
16 minutes. The DJI that we were talking about a minute ago. 16 minutes battery life, and then you got to charge it up, which is not quick.
Wow.
So it's not.
If it does 31 miles an hour in 16 minutes, it's
a long way away.
It's a long way away. You can't get it back.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying that Matt, that Sam's one has a homing device or something that it brings it back to its original thing before it runs out of juice.
When the battery reaches a critical point, it will automatically go home. Which I think is a really clever feature. So it sort of works out its GPS coordinate and where it is at the time of like when it first takes off, and then it will actually go home.
If it loses radio contact.
If it loses radio contact or whatever, the first thing it'll do is go home. And I think that's really, really clever, as I say. So that, I mean, maybe there is hope. The technology is beginning to catch up with the way that a lot of people are using these drones. Anyway, we can go on and on and on about drones.
Just quickly before we wrap up the show this week, just a quick reminder for everyone in the UK who might be in the area. Don't forget as well, we're going to be at the Old Buckingham Air Show on the 30th of July this year, which is Sunday. And we're also going to be at the Seething Charity Air Day on August the 20th this year, which is also a Sunday. Me and Matt are going to be doing a live show, streaming from there all day. So if anyone is in the area for those two air shows, do come and see me and Matt.
Indeed. So that is where we bring episode number 172 to a close. All I can say, Stuart, thank you so very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Stuart.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a pleasure, and seeing your guys on the chat room. Thank you as well.
Yeah, I think they've all appreciated you being with us tonight, Stuart, definitely.
Owen, obviously you're basically part of the furniture now, let's be honest. And as always, it's been a real pleasure to have you joining us down the line from somewhere near a busy airport in East Anglia, he says.
I think we should send him some polyfill or paint for Christmas, though.
That's true. You are in Essex, yeah. And we will start the whip round, Owen, about having your walls decorated for you, so that you know that you can have the holes filled in.
The bullet holes, is it?
Yeah.
yeah. I think I've counted them in here, and I think there's 18 of them.
Right. Okay. Well, 18 holes. Wow. Dear, we're gonna have to have a bigger whip round than I thought. Anyway, that is where we bring episode number 172 to a close. Thanks very much to everyone who's been joining us here. We're not going to go through because there is so many people in the chat room tonight. It's been
a really busy chat room.
Fantastic questions as always, guys. You're absolute stars. So a different show next week because it's going out on the Sunday 10 a.m.
Australian listener
special. An Australian listener special. If you'd like to get in touch with the show and would like to participate in that very special event, then please get in touch by emailing us on podcast@planetalkinguk.com, our website www.planetalkinguk.com, and of course it's social media. It's facebook.com/planetalkinguk, and our Twitter handle is @planetalkinguk.
So don't forget, check us out on Facebook and Twitter for when we're going to be out and about. But obviously we will be here back again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m.
Barbara suggested, Owen, that perhaps they're bullet holes behind you. I don't know if you've been upsetting the locals again.
So big thanks then again to Stuart for joining us in the studio, and all the best for the future, Stuart, and to all the listeners in the chat room who have joined us tonight, a massive thank you, and to everyone who downloads the show every week via the usual downloading places.
Of course, special thanks to all our Patreon donators who help to basically nowadays, I'm delighted to say, are paying for the running of the show.
Oh yes,
very
much so. And our visits to air shows.
Yeah, absolutely. So from all of us here in the studio and online, everyone wave at their cameras. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fly safe.